Rafael. Is that how you say it?
Sure.
You say it with a twang or
Rafael. Some kids
Rafael.
call me Rafa. I don't. Whatever you want, man.
Rafael.
Yeah.
All right, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, we met at an event with
That's
Victor,
right. Yeah, that's right.
and which was a great guest. He's been one of my favorites so far on the show. Just how real and vulnerable and raw he was. But you're a firefighter out of San Francisco.
Firefighter, paramedic. Yeah.
Paramedic.
Yep.
You did 27 years as a firefighter and 3 or 4 years as a paramedic, correct?
Actually, I started off as a paramedic.
Okay. Which most guys do.
Yeah, I started off, and my intention was not to go into the fire department.
Really?
No, I just wanted to become a paramedic. I became an EMT in 1990.
Okay.
In 1991, I went to UCSF paramedic school. They opened up a paramedic school, which was funded by the government,
Okay.
And all you had to do was commit to working for 3 months and it was a company called King American Ambulance. I worked for them for a year, went to San Mateo, worked at a 911 company over there. The ultimate goal was to go to Department of Public Health. They were the highest paid municipal ambulance company in the country. And it was a cool place to work,
Okay.
It was gritty, and everybody, you work with these veterans that were just salty, but they knew what they were doing, so that was the cool part. Well, in 1997, they came up with this idea to merge with the fire department.
Oh, okay.
And the way they described it, they said it was a budget looking for a mission and a mission looking for a budget, because the fires were contained. There's still a lot of fires, don't get me wrong, but to add volume to your calls to justify the budget, you got to add medical.
Oh,
It's 80% of the
makes
medical.
sense.
Right?
Okay. Okay.
If you have, let's say, 300 calls for service in a day, I'm going to just go on a limb and say 225 to 250 of them will be medical.
Makes sense. I mean, I had a conversation not too long ago with a buddy of mine, and I feel we're so, I don't want to say protected, but it's not like there's a fire breaking out in neighborhoods, and I can be completely speaking out of my ass, and firefighters are like, I go on fucking 5 a day, depending where you're at, but it's not like you're seeing a burning house every single day in the city.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's little things that pop off, so medical is a huge, and I've had a couple of first responders on, and I mean, they're going in homes and dealing with
everything,
which is what I love hearing these stories.
You name it. And so, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say there's no fires, because San Francisco still has some very high risk wood frame. And I've been on some fires that were insane, and people make mistakes. I remember in right around 2005, 2006, the cannabis industry, that people started doing the growth
in homes.
Yeah. And what was happening was their electricity was getting overloaded. Boom. So the place would go up on fire at 2 a.m, because they got those sodium lights and all that stuff that are just drawing too much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like here where most of the, like in this area, like your house here or my house is probably 12, 15 years old or whatever. That's new technology. But if you have a house that's 70, 80 years old, it could be a problem.
Yeah, your breaker's already struggling, and then they start adding on to it. What made you want to be a paramedic in the first place?
That's a great question. So I used to watch emergency on TV when I was a kid, and I thought it was the coolest thing. I just love that. You're the guy. When you're a paramedic, you make the decisions, right? Every decision is on you. Now, in the olden days, you used to, if you didn't know, you'd call up your base, just like they did. They'd call Rampart and ask the doctor for advice. Well, it evolved to where you're almost 100% autonomous, unless there was something really, sketchy. So you get onto a call and you make a decision on what's happening based on what's going on. It could be anything. It could be something very simple. It could be something very complicated.
Yeah.
So the crap is on you to make that decision, and hopefully it comes with a good outcome, so.
Do you remember your first call? I know it's been a while. Do you remember your first paramedic call as a brand new on the job paramedic?
I don't remember my first call, but I remember when I was in my internship, and I was the lead paramedic being supervised by 2 paramedics.
Okay.
And it wasn't the first one, but it was definitely the most memorable one.
Okay.
And it was in the city. I was interning with Department of Public Health before I got hired with them. And we went for an overdose call. And it was just it was a couple. It was a 20, I think they were like 27 or 28. They both were doing heroin. The guy died. And my preceptor turned to me, I think it was in my second week of doing it. He goes, "Go tell her that her boyfriend's dead." And I'm like, what? And then we
That's
had
a heavy load.
it's a heavy load to tell somebody, hey, this person that you love is no longer with us. We had trained, and you got to use the right wording and all that. You don't say pass away. You say, hey, I'm sorry, he's dead. And I remember having to tell her that, and that was my first time. And moving way forward, I was always the guy to do it because I had that experience early on. They always turned to me like, hey, Raf, you got to go tell the family.
That's a shitty job.
It is, but if you know how to reach people and touch people, then it becomes you want to do it the right way, because you have to remember, like, when you tell somebody that their family member is dead, they'll never forget that moment ever, never. So if you do it the right way with empathy and with feeling and like you care, then it's a better experience for them rather than, hey, sorry, he's gone. Which I've seen people
For
do
sure. I mean, and that's where I guess my next question is going to be is, I mean, is it hard to always have that face on? Because I feel you fast forward 27 years of telling people that they lost a loved one, a husband, father, child, whatever it may be. Did it ever get numb to you, or did you make sure that you continue to have that passion every time that you told somebody?
I was always like empathetic. I always kept a level of empathy.
Yeah.
There's different situations. You could have someone who's dead and they don't have any family members there. That was usually the drug overdoses or stuff. But, because, I grew up with mom and dad and all that. So when I had to tell, I remember telling a lot of times, you tell a wife that their husband passed away, and let's say they were in their 80s and they've been together for 40 or 50 years. That's a hard thing to do.
Sure.
And I felt emotional when I was doing it. Like, it's, you can disconnect. Okay, I get it. We can disconnect and not carry it on to the next day, but you still feel for these people.
We say that, right? And I talk to a lot of cops and stuff on here and vets, and I don't know if I buy that. People say it and I see it in the comments and like, I never had a problem with it. It's like, maybe now you don't, but I mean, as a human, and you're dealing with it every single day, I feel eventually either you just become numb to it or it really starts to affect in some sort of way. But I don't know if I buy that. Like you see these cops, and some of them are, the job never affected me, and it's like, no, it does. I'm always thinking like, how does it not?
I mean, if you have, a lot of people put up a barrier, right?
For sure.
I remember I was captain for a while, and then this crew went on a baby that died. I think it was a SIDS case. And I said, hey, you guys want to talk about this? You want me to call, the stress unit? Oh man, we're good, dude. It's just another death, Well, no, it's not. But that's their choice. If they don't want help, I'm not going to force it on them. That's a lesson I learned in life a long time ago. You can't want something more for someone than they want it for themselves. That's a deep lesson I learned, and we can talk about that. But when I say disconnect, I go meaning not take it on to the next day, and after that, be true with your feelings. Like, this sucked, man. I hated telling that old lady that her husband's dead because that was her world, So, and then process it and then move on. Yeah, that's all there's to it.
How bad did you see? I don't even know where to start with you, man. There's so many. We got so many directions to go. So you became a paramedic.
Yeah.
Did that for 3 years before the merger became with the fire department?
More like 6 years, yeah.
Oh, 6 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 91 I certified, 97, 98 is when we merged. And that it was a contentious and rough merger.
Why is that?
So San Francisco has a history of culture in certain ways. And so they didn't want us. The crews, and beginning, the front line did not want us coming in. Part of the thing was, hey, you guys are all smart guys because you. I remember them telling us this. You have to do your book study and all this. You're going to come in and take our promotions, and we're like, dude, we're not even thinking about that. They want to dismantle the Department of Public Health and merge us together. So
you're technically losing your jobs but keeping a job by transferring over. Then
right.
So now you have beef between the fire department and paramedics.
Dude, it got to fistfights. There were fistfights.
Really?
I wasn't involved, but there were fistfights.
Because the firefighters think that you guys are going to come in and now take your job because you guys are technically smarter because you got to learn the medicine everything that comes along with it, and then now you're competing in a way?
Not really. So
Okay. Where was the beef?
I'll tell you. I'll just break it down. So the San Francisco, like I said, was very as progressive as they say they are. They were very reluctant to change.
Okay.
So when minorities came in and when women came in, they were a protected class and nobody could say anything.
Got it.
But there was an underlying like heat about that. Like there was some underlying animosity.
Okay.
We came in. We were not a protected class, so they used to call us the effing medics all the times. And I mean, I remember sitting at tables when they were playing cards, and if they got a joker at a card, they go, "Oh, I got a medic." You know what I mean? And so it turned into this beef. Now it's not like that anymore.
For sure, yeah.
But it lasted 10 years or more.
Really?
Yeah. In the beginning,
That's a long time.
oh, it was hostile for a while. So you had to either,
Prove yourself.
put up, or challenge people or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just so in the beginning, we had to file a lawsuit because they didn't train us to be firefighters initially. And so there's a federal law that says, well, unless you're a firefighter, you can't work these 24-hour shifts. So we said, hey, you promised us that you would train us. Well, what the city does, they're like, okay, cool. We got you guys. We've got your calls now. We're not going to train you. Fine. FLSA, it's a Federal Labor Standard Act. We filed, they lost. So then they trained us, right? Then they didn't put us on the engines. They kept us working on the ambulances.
Okay. So is that how they wanted it originally when you guys merged? You were just ambulance crew, and then the firefighters did their thing, but you're under one roof. Is that how they tried to have it at first?
No, they sold it to us that we will train you as firefighters and you will be on the engines. I think what happened is they didn't really have a big plan. They just told us what we wanted to hear, because we said we were working 10 and 12-hour shifts, man.
For sure.
Then it turned into 24. And now when you're working a 24 on an ambulance, it's a big difference in working on an engine or a truck.
Well, an engine might go on 1 or 2, maybe 10 calls at a lot.
Even if they go on 20 calls, let's say, like some of the busier engines, like the downtown units, they're constantly going.
Mm-hmm.
They get there and they're done. They get there and they're done. And whereas I'm getting there on the ambulance, I'm diagnosing, I'm going to the hospital. Each call's an hour or more, and I got to do paperwork and blah, blah, blah. So
you guys are stretched thin.
yes,
Okay.
we're running calls, and I'm tired, and I've got 2 kids at home and a wife, and I'm coming home, and I'm angry because I'm not sleeping, So then we filed another one saying, okay, so now that you've trained us, you're still not letting us onto the engines. So now they were forced to. So it evolved, but like everything with the city, if you don't take them to task legally, they'll never do it, dude.
For sure.
And so
Politics involved.
politics, because they don't care. It's taxpayer money. So what if we have to pay millions of dollars? So what, right? It's not my money.
Yeah.
So
Do you think the lawsuits hurt the situation?
initially,
Because now the firefighters are like, oh, you guys are suing just so you can get your way. I mean,
absolutely.
so that threw fuel on the fire, but you guys had to file those lawsuits in order to.
So initially there was 30 of us, and I remember a guy, a good friend of mine, who I'm still friends with today, but at the time he goes, oh, you guys are the Dirty 30.
30-30.
Well, it's the Dirty 30. And so years later, initially it was like that, but years later they go, okay. He came and apologized to me. He goes, you know what? I'm sorry, dude. That was absolutely mandatory. That's what you guys did, and I apologize for spreading. He would give out lists. Here's the Dirty 30. Here are the guys. He was kind of sucking up to the crews, where I was like, no, I'm going to stand up for myself, and it made a huge difference. So today, it was because of our work that things are getting along better right now. If you didn't do anything, then you just be their whooping boy,
Absolutely.
So,
So that animosity went on for 10 years. So
at least, yeah.
So once you got in the merge happen, what's life like in the firehouse now that you went from a private company running paramedics, now you're under the roof with firefighters? What was that dynamic like?
It would depend on what station you went to.
For sure.
If you went to some of the busier downtown station, it was, and the other thing was who you were. I didn't have a problem because I was a city boy. I was born and raised over there. A lot of guys knew me, but there were people that they were hated, like they were abused, and there were stories of like they would take their food and throw it away, and like really nasty stuff.
Okay.
And they were mad because the bell keeps going off. The bells what they didn't realize is like the fire engines would co-respond with us when we were at DPH only on code 3 calls. Well, code 3 calls might have been 40% of our calls. There's 60% that are code 2. So code 3 meaning cardiac arrests, stabbing, shootings, stuff like that. Well, code 2s could be some, I got a tummy ache. Okay, so we'd go there without lights and sirens.
Yep.
So I told these guys, I go, yeah, it's not like you guys go out. I go, no, we do. We go out a lot. You just don't realize that. So when the fire department took over, now everything is code 3. And they're going with us. So their call volume doubled or more.
So now they're pissed off over that.
Pissed off, right? And I get it.
They don't get to just chill anymore.
I get it, right? They sold us the bill. They go, oh, if you go to this station, it's Chateau Relaxo. And there was no such thing. Nothing. I'm tired, dude, right? Like you're up for 19, 20 hours out of 24. I would get upset because I'm seeing guys work out and I cannot work out. You go in and do one set, the bell goes off, so there was no point. So it just compounded. But I guess like anything, dude, you have to have a little bit of pain in order to make something work,
Every time. Every time. And that's life. I mean, you see, that's when you get comfortable and you get complacent and nothing grows, nothing changes. But when changes happen, people are uncomfortable, they're stressed, they're irritable. I mean, there's so many. That's what I think a lot of people don't realize when it comes to growth, of how uncomfortable it is. But it's such a great thing because it's pulling you out of your comfort zone. It's pulling you out of your habits and routines, and then and I feel that's where a lot of people don't grow and they don't change, is because of that uncomfortable feeling. And it sucks, of the stress, the worry. We're walking from everything, those feelings, and like, okay, we got to join into this, or in the military, it's like, oh, we're getting a bunch of guys from this platoon, or hey, you're going to this platoon now, and you're like, fuck. Just got used to all these guys. I got we know everybody, everybody's flowing, and then everything gets changed up and you're pissed off. You take it out on all the junior guys, and then within a couple of months you got a whole new flow going anyways. But I could imagine as firefighters, because those guys are so prideful. And then I got a really good buddy of mine that just became a firefighter at the end of last year, and he's still in his testing stages in Salt Lake, where he's trying out all the different firehouses before they could put their bid in or whatever to go to a house. And I talk to him constantly, and he's like, man, it's the greatest thing, because the crews are so different. Every house is different. There's a different vibe and atmosphere for everything. And
I mean, I did a lot of training with those guys in Salt Lake, because I did a stint at the airport, San Francisco airport, just to calm things down, because we were on the ambulance. So I went out there for a few years. And we would go to Salt Lake because it was an FAA thing that we had to go every year and they call it a live fire burn. And they don't do it in San Francisco and California because they can't burn. It's all some EPA, whatever, So they go to Salt Lake or Dallas. So we would train with I know, dude, it's ridiculous. And so we'd go to Salt Lake, and if you ever land at their airport, they have an airport firehouse where they've got like a propane airplane that lights up. And it was actually pretty cool. Those guys were nice guys. But you could go to any firehouse in America, and it's the same thing. It's the same, woe is me. And firefighters complain. We complain all the time, dude.
That's everybody.
Everybody, right? Cops are the same way. And that's what both of my kids now are in the department. And,
that's cool.
And the first thing I told them, I go, don't get involved in the gossip and stop complaining. I go, you'd be so, because I fell into it. I was part of it. I was part of the problem, So I just don't want them to be part of that problem.
What was, as far as firefighting, once you became into that and everything got settled, and now you're going out on you're on an engine, right?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was way more accepting. Once that happened, everything was 90% better. There was still a little bit of the anti-paramedic animosity, but once you're as a crew, as you know, when you're in a platoon or a company, I mean, it's like, all right, you're not really the outsider anymore.
Yeah.
You hear a little bit about, okay, you guys make more money. The jealousy thing, right? It's always, if someone makes 15% more, the mumbles start to happen. And I would just tell people, I go, you can go become a paramedic.
Yeah.
Well, it's too hard. I go, then don't complain, right?
Well,
I did it.
That's why I'm getting paid more.
Right. I got way more responsibility, If something goes wrong, who's the first person they're going to talk to? Me?
Yeah.
Right? If I gave the wrong medicine, they're not coming to you. They're coming to me, So, I mean, I think that even happened with that whole George Floyd thing. The paramedics did something. They went after them like, pretty bad, which, whatever, that's another subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that, the people, it's just the mindset, because they feel you're all doing the same job, but at the same time, you're a paramedic, went through all that extra training,
Yeah.
have all that extra responsibility, and they're like, well, you're making more than me, and we do the same thing. We're not, like, but you can go get certified, and they won't. That's just the human mind of jealousy. And
I remember a guy saying, we'll never accept you guys until we see one of your names on the memorial wall. Like, in other words, until one of you guys dies in the line of fire. And I'm thinking, what
Really?
a fucking horrible thing to say, And one of us did. In 2011, these two guys, one of them was a medic. I knew him very well. And the lieutenant, they went into a fire and they got melted, literally. Like, it was horrific. So after that, things kind of calmed down. It was just like, okay, these guys are part of it, right? It could happen to any one of us over there. Yeah, it was.
Oh shit!
I knew the guys that went in on that call, and they were wrecked after that.
Did you ever have a close call?
I did.
How was that?
I was 50 years old. I'm
Really?
57 now. I was 50, and we went to this. It was a gas explosion. I guess one of the cell phone companies were digging, and they hit a gas pipe, and it was a huge explosion. And there were 2-3 buildings that got exposed. So we were the first unit that went in, and we went into the rafters, and we were knocking down the fire, because everything was coming this way. So if the explosion was here, the building's here, and then all of a sudden I'm on this little ladder with a hose, and it just goes like dark. Mistakenly, the chief ordered the truck to take the pipe and shoot water down on us, which is a big no-no. You shouldn't do that. But mistakes happen. And so the next thing I know, I'm calling out for my crew, and there's nobody there. And it's pitch black. The only thing that we didn't, I remember it wasn't hot, but it was dark, and my Vibra alert went off.
Which is what?
Vibra alert, so you have your SCBAs, your breathing apparatus,
Okay.
and when you're about 3 or 4 minutes from, like, running out of air, it goes like that.
Means get the hell out of there.
It's time to go.
Yeah.
And it's dark, and so it was weird. I had this calmness. I'm like, is this where it ends? I asked myself that. I had this strange calmness, but then it kicks in. Okay, drop down, find the hose, and just crawl out, which I did. But I ran out of air. That was probably about as close as I came.
Really?
Yeah. And so what happened was, the lieutenant, who was a great lieutenant, told the probie, grab Raf and let's get out of here. So he grabbed somebody else. He thought, because he couldn't see anything, he just grabbed the guy, and so they get out, they go out to wherever they were.
And they left you behind.
They left me behind. The lieutenant later on was like, dude, we were calling for you and all that. And I'm like, dude, it was a kind of a surreal, I'll never forget that moment,
Just had that come to Jesus moment. Really.
Yeah, it was like, it's over. Like, this is it. I'm like, damn, is this it? I thought that was going to be like a little bit more like, dramatic than me just suffocating in a dark room.
That's pretty sketch, though. I mean, I give so much credit to firefighters and paramedics and the law enforcement, because that's why I love having these conversations, because I feel we see you every day.
Yeah.
We see the fire trucks. We drive by the firehouses. We pass the cops. We see the paramedics.
Yeah.
But nobody truly knows what's going on
Mm-hmm.
and how their life is going. And so that's why I love having these conversations, just to try to bring some light on it, because, I mean, you never think of that type of stuff, and it's just such little things. And I'm sure over the 27 years that you've had, I mean, how many situations you've seen, just the simplest mistakes or things that are going on that we as the civilian population are just cruising along, and
similar to you guys in the military, though, when you're overseas.
For sure.
And I mean, you could, just like you have this great calmness about you guys are playing chess or whatever, backgammon or whatever, and then bam, the thing rings off,
Yeah.
I hated it, like 2 a.m, things would happen. I'm like, oh man. And that's, as I got a little older, I started realizing I don't want to do this anymore. The sleep thing is a big issue.
What were your shifts?
24s. So I forgot the name of it, but you would work 24 hours and then get 48 hours off.
Okay.
And then every third, you'd get 3 days off. And then then you get 4 days off. So, but a 24-hour shift, you're done the next day. I don't care.
Sure.
Even at slow stations, like when I was at the airport, we weren't that busy, but you've always got one eye open,
Yeah.
And so I just remember like the next morning, there'd be like this cloud in front of you. You couldn't think right. I learned don't make decisions, like don't go out and buy an expensive car or anything, because, and then it turns into this eating thing too. Because when you're really tired and miserable, you start eating garbage, you know, and processed foods. And I wasn't always a healthy guy, you know. And once I got out of that, I have sleep apnea, and I didn't realize that until like 2018. And that changed my life when I realized that. That's a great story, though. And so I believe, you know, they hear a lot of cancer stuff with firefighters. A lot of it is definitely what you're exposed to. You know, God forbid this place goes on fire. All of these things have chemicals in it.
For
Everything.
sure.
Your paint, your electricity, your couches, everything.
Insulation. I mean, everything.
Right?
Drywall, everything.
And that stuff, there was a big push to make sure you cleaned your turnouts and all that stuff, because there's lasting effects. But one thing that's not talked about is sleep deprivation. And that is a carcinogen. It's classified as some kind of a carcinogen. Not a carcinogen. Yeah, a carcinogen, where people could get cancer from that.
Yeah, I believe it.
You
for
know,
sure.
You're not sleeping. You get that sleep apnea. That's, if you ever know people that have that, make sure they get treated, because I remember going and the doctor goes, dude, you go apneic for 30 seconds. Your oxygen saturation drops into the 80s. You're not breathing. So I go, so like I never forget it. He's this little Asian dude, and he looks at me and he goes, what would you do to me if I came across this table and I started choking you? So I laughed. I go, I beat the shit out of you. And he goes, well, that's what's happening to you 45 times an hour every night.
Really?
And I go, okay, I'll take the CPAP. And he was right. You know, he goes, you'll get high blood pressure. You'll get this, that, and the other, you know. And so I think the sleep, not sleeping for 24 hours can affect people.
Oh, for sure.
So,
for sure.
you know.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about, because, I mean, it's your job, and these guys deal with it for a whole career. And, I mean, you look at firefighters and cops, I mean, these guys that are working night shifts, and, God, you're up all night, then you got to come home during the day, and you got kids at home, and
you're
tired and exhausted. And, yeah, I'd say that wears on you over time.
Yeah.
What were you doing at the airport as a paramedic or a firefighter? What did they need you there for?
So San Francisco is a busy airport.
Yep.
San Francisco. And every airport, depending on their classification and what type of aircraft they have, requires you by FAA to have so many firefighters and so many apparatus. So let's say you land a bunch of 747s and 777s and all that. You know, they do a calculation, and you require firefighting apparatus. You don't require medical, but now that we've got paramedics, why not have paramedics? So we were busy, but a lot of the stuff, it was weird, because you go from going into people's houses to getting a buzzer go off, and an incoming flight is coming in, and they'll be here in 10 minutes, and somebody passed out on an airplane. That happens all the time, right? But other real emergencies would happen. Like, you know, people, whatever, they had vertigo or something, and they pass out. But
what's a real emergency that you guys are getting called to at the airport?
I mean, you get cardiac arrest all the time.
Really?
And that's a phenomenal thing over there, because they have defibrillators, auto defibs everywhere.
Okay.
And I have never in my life seen so many people actually come back to life from a cardiac arrest. Because usually, if somebody calls from their house for a cardiac arrest, it's going to take, on average, 7 to 8 minutes for somebody to come in.
Okay.
So some people say, oh, CPR is the most important thing. CPR is important, right? But electricity is really what makes a difference. I never did any stats, but I'm going to guess that 40 to 50% of the cardiac arrests that I went on walked out of the hospital.
Really?
Yeah. Because
from the airport?
Yeah, because you got
They're
cops
on the plane, or they're just there that close?
Let's say if they're on the plane, then it's, you know,
They're dead?
They're dead, probably.
Okay.
You know, but if you're in the airport, every 100 feet there's a defibrillator, and the cops are trained to use the defibrillator. We might be in the firehouse, but cops all the time would zap these people, and they're like, you get there, they go, I swear, Rap, this guy was dead. I go, okay, I believe you.
He's alive, hey.
Right? Like, and now he's looking at me, right? So that's a real emergency. But we would also get pulmonary embolisms a lot. And
really?
So what happens is when you go in the air, your blood thickens. Now, if you're not in good shape, or you've got pre-existing conditions, that's actually probably the worst thing to see ever. because imagine you're on a, I don't know, let's say 10-hour flight, okay?
Yeah.
You don't get up. This is why it's important to move when you're on an airplane. You don't get up. Your blood starts to get thick. You get up when it's time to walk out. By the time you get to the jetway, you collapse. And we're waiting for you. And we see it, you know, and they'll turn like a different color, and they're always like reaching up to you. And you know there's nothing you can do. They're going to die. You work them up, take them to the hospital. So they shoot a clot, and it's a horrific thing, you know, to watch.
Yeah.
That clot will go into their lungs, and it's not a pretty thing. So we didn't see that every day, but when we saw it, we knew it was happening.
It was often enough to realize you knew exactly what
you know what's happening. Like, and then you're looking at this guy or gal, and you're like, you're not saying it, but you know they're going to die, right? Mm-hmm. It's weird because they're looking at you, they're awake, but there's probably, unless you can get them to an operating table, there's not much you can do for them.
Damn, that's rough. Yeah,
so it's stuff like that. I think the craziest call I ever had at the airport, like insane, dude. You know the jetways that extend and they go into the airplane. They extend and then they attach to the airplane. Yep. They're on wheels and they weigh tons. A cleaning crew lady rested her, like, I don't know, I guess it was like her broom or something, and she went, as it was moving, she went to grab it, and it ran her over. And so the top of her legs, it was sitting on top of her when I got there. And so if her legs were this big, now they were this big. They were like pancakes, you know.
Really?
And I remember getting there and looking at her, and she was just like catatonic, like awake, right? So there's a perfect example of how you have to improvise when you do stuff, because you can't put her in a splint. So now I've got to tell the guy, we had to give medicine before, because there's a crush protocol. Because if you take the heavy weight off, they're going to release a bunch of toxins. So we give medicines prior to releasing them.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, and there was a supervisor there from the ambulance company, and we worked together really well. And then we got 2 IVs on her and started pumping drugs in her. Had them move the jetway and put her legs in plastic bags.
That bad?
That bad. Like, you couldn't splint them. I mean, they were crushed, dude. So
okay, so as just like I'm trying to like imagine like what's going in your head. Like, has there ever been a time where this is a perfect example? Yeah. Like when they move the jetway, are you ever just like, oh God, like, or do you just have to play it cool? I mean, you're seeing, it's so unnatural to see when a body's disformed or been in an accident or something like that. Do you ever, I mean, has there ever been a situation where you're like, oh, fucking hell, like this is a bad one, or do you just keep it cool the whole entire time?
Oh, you keep cool the whole time. I mean, because you know, you're in a mode. Like when I got into a mode, I was there's a problem, we have to solve this problem, and let's get this done. There was no in between. You know what I mean? Like I looked at it. What's the end goal here? And let's handle this problem. And then later on, you can talk about it. Yeah. Like I think with that call, I had a partner that didn't know what they were doing, and I let her have it. Okay. I let her have it because she didn't know how to spike the IV bag. And after the call, I just went off on her when I came back, because I went to the hospital. And then she went and complained to me to the lieutenant, who happened to be one of my best friends. Yeah. And he goes, well, what happened? He goes, well, I didn't know how to spike a bag. He goes, what did you expect him to do? Like, pat you on the back? You know, so. Good job. Yeah, and I didn't care. Like, what are you going to do? I didn't, like, call her names or anything. I'm like, well, what if that was your mom, and the assistant didn't know how to do that? So I wonder if she's going to watch this podcast, but whatever, I don't care.
Nobody watches this podcast.
So I just solved the problem. Solved it. Yeah. What
did the woman see her legs after they removed her? Or did you have her like laid flat on a board?
She was laid flat. She was in complete shock, like, you know, psychological shock. She wasn't in any pain. We didn't give her any pain medicine. I just remember, man, your legs are, I didn't tell her this, but I mean, your legs are completely flat, right? And she just was like in this state of shock. Like her eyes were just boom, like weird.
Poor woman.
We just rushed her to the hospital. And then nothing. I mean, she probably lost both legs, I'm sure, but I think she survived. You know,
what's it? San Francisco's such a fascinating place. What's it like on the 4th of July being a firefighter? I'm watching all these videos of these dudes blowing their hands off, and it seems every year more and more videos are coming out. It just blows my mind that these dudes are holding mortars and trying to light them, and it's just even the dumbest shit I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
I never would hold a mortar and light it. What is the 4th of July like working as a firefighter paramedic in San Francisco?
So I think people are just getting dumber.
For 100%.
Right?
For sure.
So let me tell you what my daughter just told me, because she worked the 4th of July just on the ambulance. She goes, Dad, this... I shouldn't even laugh, but they had somebody that was lighting, like, I don't know, it was an M80 or something big, and it wasn't lighting, so he just got closer to it. And so when it went off, it completely blew his mouth open. That's what she said. He goes, and she goes, Dad, I've never seen anything like that. And I'm like, really? But the way she was explaining it was like, whoa,
I just don't understand.
I don't get it. But it's just, so my worst experience as a paramedic on July 4th, I'll never forget it. I think it was before we merged with the fire department. I was at DPH, and it was in kind of a rundown area.
Okay.
And so someone shot some skyrockets or bottle rockets. It hit the shingle roof, and the house went on fire. 2 kids died in the fire, 2 young ones, like 3 or 4. And I remember seeing their bodies, and there was a guy that we worked with. There was several ambulances there, a guy that came in with me that quit his job that day.
Really?
Right after the call, he goes, F this, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And so apparently he had seen a lot. He'd worked in Oakland a long time, and he had just, everybody hits their limit. And when somebody handed him the body of the kid, it hit him in a certain way. Those are calls you never forget. Those, like, I could tell you calls, I'd probably start crying right now if I talked about it.
I mean, if you don't mind, you want to share one? I mean, what's if you don't have to, but if you're comfortable with it, what's one of the most worst memorable calls that you've had to go on?
I was a paramedic in San Mateo County.
Okay.
And there was a call. It gives me the shivers until, like, even now. So it was a young kid that had been beaten ruthlessly by a boyfriend of this lady, and I believe she was like 7 or 8. And he threw her out the window, and she was just like, I wasn't running the call, but we were there because it was a multi-casualty thing. And it was a big deal because obviously this guy was arrested and somebody took him to the hospital. And so the kid got taken to Stanford, and we were at Stanford, and the crew, when you bring in something like that, you've got a huge trauma team, and Stanford's a trauma hospital. And I just remember nurses, doctors, cops, paramedics, and firefighters. So they worked on her for an hour, and they pronounced her dead. And there wasn't a dry eye in the place, like not one. And I'll never forget that, because you go through this, I feel sorry for this kid, to this, I wish I was in the ambulance with this guy, right? Like, you want to mete out justice. Obviously, you can't do that, but in your fantasy head, you want to do that, because I had a young kids at the time, too, and I'm like, who does that kind of stuff,
Evil.
So that's, it's as jaded as someone can become, you cannot when it comes to that kind of stuff. If you are, you have no soul, and you shouldn't even be in that job.
For sure.
So, yeah, that was a shitty call, dude.
How often are you dealing with calls like that as a paramedic and or just a first responder? How often are you dealing with those types of traumatic incidences where you're dealing with the death of kids and young adults and things like that? Is it quite often? I mean, is it a weekly thing, monthly? I mean,
no, it's like that kind of stuff, not often. But so I'll qualify that by saying, if you are on an ambulance, or let's say you're on in a firehouse or on a fire engine that's in a particular area where you see stuff like that, you're going to see it more.
Okay.
If you're in an ambulance roving around, you may not see it as often.
Got it.
Because there are some areas in San Francisco that are downtrodden, and you're going to see more of that stuff more often.
Yeah.
In certain communities, for sure. And those guys get burnt out pretty quick. because you just see the way people treat kids and the way they treat themselves, and you can't help but format opinions and stuff.
Oh, 100%. That's human nature. I mean,
Right. You
especially
try not to, but
when you're entrenched in it all day, every day, and
Right.
that's what you see. I mean, you almost forget the rest of the world, and then that becomes your world of just seeing that trauma, and then you feel everything is like that.
yeah,
And so that's got to be tough. I mean, that goes back to the earlier conversation where these guys say like, "Oh, it doesn't affect me," but like when you're dealing with hurt kids constantly, or stabbings or shootings, it's just one thing after another after another. I mean, it chips away. It has to eventually.
There's no way it
forget
can't.
that. You don't forget that type of shit.
Right. Like, look at this. This is years later, and I'm talking about it, and I can feel it. Like that kid calling Redwood City. Every time I tell that story, I feel emotional about it, because it's like, man, like what? Who does that? Anytime. Just like I think when you were talking with Victor about the microwave thing, and that hit me right there just listening to that. That was like, who?
I feel a lot of us, the majority of this country is pretty sheltered when it comes to how evil or what type of evil is living next door or down the street.
Yeah.
Because, we live in our little bubbles, and people don't realize that there's the level of just hate, and it just comes down to being pure evil that is out there, and they don't care who they hurt, how they hurt it.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens every day, and that's where you guys come in, and it's to be able to have to deal with it on a day-to-day basis blows my mind. Like, there's not more for law enforcement and for first responders and everything like that. It's really weird to me, and I never really gave it much thought before this podcast, and then sitting down and talking to people where it's like what the fuck? Like, how is this? There's not more programs, or how are we not? I don't want to say forcing, but in a way, like as men, we don't ever reach out for help. We don't know what, like, it's just what we do, right?
Yeah.
It's how we're programmed.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because it's the wrong scenario or wrong thing or situation to be doing, but it's like and I don't even know how we would even implement the force, because you can't force people to want to be able to help or talk and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's almost this endless battle that we come back to the house or whatever, and you just laugh it off, joke it off, bury it, drink it away, whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
And then go back and do it again the next day.
So it's a stigma, right? It's a stigma, and then it's also this ego thing where I think guys, it's getting way better, and it's more recognized. Like, we'll talk about that Save a Warrior program that I did, but it's something that's being addressed more now than before. But when I first started, if you said, "Hey, man, that thing stressed me out," or whatever, guys would be like, they call you names or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was, you had to put that behind you. But slowly, especially when I've had a couple of guys that ended their life, committed suicide. I've had guys that were like messed up after certain types of incidents and stuff. So it is a real thing. We're not made of iron, right? We're not metal. We're still humans inside. And just because we decided to be in the military or in first responder doesn't mean we're not susceptible to dealing with stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And I got lucky. I had a girlfriend at the time. I think it was like 2012, and I used to drink a lot, a lot, like to the point where I was blacking out and stuff, and that was a coping mechanism. And she goes, I think you need to talk to somebody. And I was doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing, womanizing and all this other stuff. And she goes, to the point where I don't want to be with you unless you do that. So I started like getting counseling, and it opened up like stuff that I didn't even realize, and it made me think differently.
How so?
This guy was smart.
Okay.
A psychologist. Wacky as all hell, but he was smart.
They all are.
No, wacky, dude. Like, he had this thing where he had a clock here and a clock here. And if I move the clock 1 inch, he'd go crazy. And I go crazy. He had this, what do they call that? OCD type thing. So now I started doing it on purpose.
Oh,
right?
for sure. For sure. I'd be poking and turning everything.
So one of his things says, hey, you got anger issues. You get mad about stuff that happens at work. Things are not fair. And then you make it worse by drinking and da-da-da. So he said, why don't we get you to drink once a week instead of, almost every night other than work time. So I did. And then, but that one day that I drank,
It was
I
a
went
lot.
nuts, like a half a bottle of whiskey or whatever.
Yeah.
Tequila was my thing.
Yeah, you got to catch up for the week.
Right. And then one day, I think it was 2012 or something like that, I went to my brother. We used to do these, we used to call them bowls of loudmouth soup.
Okay.
And it was each drink was a Belvedere vodka martini, would have like 4 shots in each drink, and I had 4 of them. So I had 16 shots that day, 16 ounces of alcohol, obliterated.
Yeah.
Somehow made it home. I get a call the next day, and my brother goes, "What happened to you last night?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You were yelling at my neighbor in Russian and at their dog in Russian." And I go, "I don't speak Russian." He goes, "Oh, you did last night." And I'm like, "Really?"
You're like, oh, I'm done.
And then he tells me, he goes, "I've been meaning to talk to you. Your son is saying, hey, can you talk to my dad about not drinking so much, because he kind of becomes kind of a bully and stuff, I didn't hurt him or nothing, but, I tease him or whatever." And then I had a chat with myself and a chat with him, and I just stopped. I stopped for 4 years straight. And remember the counselor said, most people can't go a year. He goes, almost nobody can stop for 2 years. So then I says, I'll stop for 4. He goes, yeah, right. And I did.
Why just 4?
That was my goal.
Okay.
And so now I can go out and have one.
Yeah.
I remember going to an AA meeting, and then they were defining what an alcoholic is, and on page this and that, they handed me the book. If you answer yes to, or whatever the question was, it was something about, if you have one, do you have to have another one? He goes, then you're an alcoholic. And I go, I don't. He goes, well, you're not an alcoholic. I just enjoyed getting drunk, I did. It was fun, but I was an idiot when I drank. So now I might have 2 a month, maybe, and I could go months without having one. So I don't need it.
Yeah.
But when I stopped, I felt like I lost a friend initially. It's weird.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that, and a lot of people lose friends.
I did.
They lose, and it's crazy. I've never been I'm not a drinker.
Good.
It's just trust me, I've gone through my drinking phases, but I've never been, where I think I ever needed anything for it. I can go years without. It's just not one of those things. I don't have an urge, right?
Good.
And so, but I have buddies. I actually have a couple right now that recently quit drinking, and they were heavy drinkers. And that was one of the things they said. They were like, man, how many people don't call you? How many people don't want to hang? And I'm like, I can't even imagine. It's
true. You're no fun anymore.
If you're at the bar, you're at events where everything's built around drinking and alcohol, that's your crowd.
Right.
And then the second you pull yourself out of it,
you're different.
But then you also start to see it when, you go through those phases, and then you start seeing like, oh man, everything has to revolve around being drunk,
and you're acting like idiots. Like when you watch a crowd, that's the funny thing. I could go and hang out with people while they're still drinking and not feel like, oh, don't drink around me. No, do what you got to do. I'm disciplined. I don't have to.
Yep.
But then you start seeing where conversations, you realize, man, this is a superficial conversation. And
all of them.
And I did 2 things that time. I canceled my cable subscription.
Yeah.
I'm not watching TV. I'm not listening to the poison that's coming through the tube.
Yep.
And I'm stopping to drink. And my life changed. And my mindset completely changed.
Oh, I bet.
I got a TV at home. I rarely turn it on. I might look at YouTube videos, podcasts or this and that. But you realize there is so much influence and brainwashing going on constantly.
Yep.
So the minute
everything,
dude.
My wife was just telling me, she sent me this video. I haven't watched it yet. We just had this conversation this morning. This guy got rid of his iPhone and got a flip phone, and he said it completely changed his life.
Yeah.
And how at first he was so consumed by all the problems, and he didn't even realize like what's going on, who's doing this, like what's changing, what's happening.
Yeah.
And it was this huge phase of FOMO, of missing out. And then once he got past it, and he explains it like it's like detoxing off alcohol. He's like, it was horrible.
Totally.
And so yeah, he's like, I went back to a flip phone, got rid of all the social, and he's like, once you got past that phase and detoxed from it, he's like, everything, because she was telling me about it all. She's like, and he says that everything is related to your phone. all your problems come from your phone.
Go to the you go to the gym, you see what happens over there. I saw a guy today. He had a 100-pound dumbbell, and he was on the phone. Like, what are you doing? Like, and you can hear he's loud and he's talking, but that happens everywhere. Nobody's connected.
No.
Go into an elevator. What is everybody doing? Right? Like, but here's the thing. It's not only here. Like, I travel all over the world, right? It's everywhere. At the gyms in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Laos, in Japan, everybody's doing it, you know? So
They own us, man.
they own us. And you know how, I mean, I know you know this, but I'll say something, and the next thing I know, I open up Facebook and I've got an ad. Wait a minute, you're listening to me? Yes, they are.
We just had a cybersecurity Ben,
Yeah, I heard
the
that.
IT
Yeah,
guy,
yeah, yeah.
the family IT guy, and
15 minutes.
every 15 minutes they're tracking. And when that hit me, I was working for a company and we had a meeting. So we were looking at hiring on this woman, and I had no idea who this woman was, never seen her, never heard, nothing. She was just somebody that got brought up, and we had this full conversation about her. And I left the office, got in my truck, and there's a stoplight as soon as you pull out, and it's the longest damn stoplight. So I'd pull my phone out. The second I opened Facebook, people recommended that you should follow, and it was this woman, and I'm like,
Yep.
that's when I was like, they're
They're
100% listening, and
Yeah.
it's an interesting world. But back to the firefighter before I want to get before I want to start hearing some around the world stories. But
yeah.
what's it like dealing? And I have a fascination with this.
Okay.
I want to talk to somebody that works with hoarders.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't know where it comes from. Maybe because my mom watched Hoarders as a child growing up.
All right.
That's all I was fed.
Yeah.
But I have this weird obsession with talking to people that deal with hoarders.
Okay.
What is it like going into hoarder homes?
First of all, I'm going to start off by apologizing to my mom because she's the biggest hoarder in the world, and I'm the opposite.
Okay.
And so
that's probably why you had.
she wasn't like that until like the last few years.
That's a thing. It's like an empty nest thing, and then all of a sudden, something switches in people.
She's got toys. My kids. I've got a 30-year-old daughter and a 28-year-old son.
Okay.
And she has toys from when they were 1 and 2.
Can't let it go.
And no. And I mean, and my mom's a very, she's a stubborn woman. You know? She was born in Egypt.
Okay.
She's an Egyptian woman, got kicked out of Egypt because they were Jews, back in the 60s.
Oh.
So she's like, she's like that. And she asked me the other day, it was last week, I was in the Bay Area, and she goes, what do I need to do around here? I go, everything. I go, but first, Mom, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do because I already know that you're not going to listen to me. She goes, okay, just tell me. I go, we need to bring in like a dump truck here and throw everything. Nope. Okay, so that's that out of the side. I can't tolerate that. And so when you go into, imagine you have a fire, which obviously if you're a hoarder, you're going to be more susceptible to having a fire because there's more material to light up, right?
For sure.
And you just come into a house that could have boxes and whatever, books, stuff that they've collected over the years everywhere. Now you're tripping over that. That's a hazard. But it's no surprise that a lot of the houses that light up are hoarders.
Are they?
Yeah, a lot. Not every one of them, obviously.
But a big percentage of it?
Yeah, I mean, because then so imagine if I walk into a room, it's completely black. All you see is smoke, and it doesn't only mean not only for the firefighters, but for the paramedics. You walk into a place, you want me to get your 300-pound butt out of here?
How is that? How do you do that?
How do I get a 300-pound person out of there?
Out of a hoarder house.
It sucks. I mean, I've never done it, but there are people that have had to call in a crane and take people out of the window that way because they were 600-700 pounds and they haven't been out of the bed for 6 months. But you just do it. You solve it. You figure out. You could put them into this thing that we call the carry-all. It's a big vinyl whatever tarp with handles everywhere, and you put them in, and you get a bunch of firemen, and 6-7 of us are carrying this person out.
Through just trails.
Yeah. Roll them whatever way. You just got to get them out. Yeah. Now, hoarding to me, I don't get it.
I don't either.
I mean, if you ever come to my house, you'll see. It's not immaculate, but it's pretty neat. You know what I mean? Yeah. I like my because I think better when I'm organized. Maybe that's just
you actually sleep better. Everything.
Totally.
It's like there's some there's science behind it.
There
My
is.
wife's always arguing with the kids. She's our little one. It's not that she's just a kid. You know how kids are, but. And she's a toy kid, so you could have the most immaculate room, and then you walk back in 30 minutes later, and it is just, it looks destroyed, but she knows where every single thing is in her room. And then my wife's always like, you will sleep better. And then every time she cleans her room, every morning, she's like, I got the best night's sleep after I clean my room. I'm like, no shit.
You just got to tell them that 100 times until
Until it becomes a habit or a routine. But yeah, hoarders fascinate me, man. Like how we had Mackenzie on. She was she's still in, and man, she was just telling me some of the stuff, like just the filth and the feces,
the smell. Oh, because if you're a hoarder, and my mom's not like this, but most hoarders are not very hygienic people. You know, the whole house is it's a wreck. Why do you? I don't get it. I want to understand. Maybe you and I can figure this out. You know, we can make money doing it. Like
I've watched the series so much because my mom was just, like I said earlier, she was obsessed with it growing up, and then I think I got into it. But it's weird when you see the psychologist talking to them and how something will just switch.
Right.
And then all these kids were like, man, my parents, we didn't grow up like this. Some of them do, but then there's a lot that don't. Like my wife, their grandmother on the wife's side, she's borderline it, and that was like a huge thing for my wife growing up because she'd always have to move things, and there's always boxes and paths in a way. And she was like, so now she's like, do you leave a trail in a room? Oh my God. Like it brings back some childhood flashbacks when we're all getting screamed at over that. But yeah, no, I just, I couldn't imagine as like a paramedic or a firefighter going into a home and it's just like trails and piles and
you just want to get out of there.
I bet.
You know, another one is getting someone off of an airplane is kind of difficult too, you know?
Oh.
You know, that's so, it's not the same, obviously, but it's
you have such a narrow aisleway.
Yeah, yeah. And
how often are people dying on planes?
It's not that they're dying, but they need to be wheeled off. But it happens. People are dying on airplanes. I mean, I've had people die in the middle of the ocean, right? They're over the ocean flying in from wherever. They're dead. There's nothing you can do. So now it turns into a dead body call.
That's an awkward flight, I bet.
Yeah, especially if that body's right next to you, right? And they've done CPR or whatever.
Could you imagine if you're like 4 hours from landing?
I've seen it.
And you just got a body sitting next to you. Is there a protocol like they move into the back or?
Well, how some of them are not. If it's a big person, they can't, right? So then they just cover them, belt them in, and cover them.
I'm not making light of it, but I'm thinking of the situation. Like you're just sitting like a weekend at Bernie's, like you just got some body just chilling next to you on a plane.
Yeah, right.
That would be I would be getting my money back from that flight,
dude. And the worst, well, not the worst.
You never think of this stuff unless I guess you're in the moment,
right? Or you. I saw it all the time. And one thing, I hated doing it, but we had to do it. So we would get on an airplane. Everybody's ready to go. You know how you get up and you're getting your load, and I have to say everybody has to sit down until I get the patient off. That's the protocol. Because you called me that someone's having an emergency. Let's say that person is in seat 54C, right? Way in the back of the airplane. Well, if they're having an emergency, I'm not going to wait 30 minutes for you to deplane this aircraft. So we'd piss off crews, we'd piss off, and then usually the way we'd solve it is I tell the pilot, it's part 139, FAA. Okay.
Oh, they don't argue with
because it's a legal thing now, right? You don't want the FAA involved in your business, especially if the pilot goes, get it, no problem. And
what was your favorite part about being a firefighter?
Probably similar to your favorite part of being in the military, and it was the camaraderie with the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that was probably 100%. A cool thing. So there was this. My buddy came up with this saying when we retired. He goes, I miss the clowns, but I don't miss the circus.
For sure.
Right? And that's the truth. So sitting around at the table and talking and then, meeting up with people later on or doing events later, that was cool because you have a bond and a connection with people. But I also like being challenged. I like going on challenging calls. I liked figuring out. I'm just a problem solver by nature. I don't know if that's, a weird thing or what, but I just, bring me a problem. I'll figure it out for you,
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of being a firefighter, especially a paramedic, is. solving problems.
Would you have rather stayed a paramedic your whole entire career, or were you glad that it merged?
I'm glad that it merged because working on an ambulance is not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. And if you look at your average paramedic that works on an ambulance for many years, they're not in good shape. They end up eating like crap. You see them with the big bellies and, they've got the big thick neck, so they get the sleep apnea and more problems. And most become jaded. And that's why I tell people, I go, do 10 years on an ambulance and get out.
Yeah.
If you can move to the fire department. Not many 20 to 30-year paramedics make it out in a good situation.
Okay.
Think of it, you're sitting, right? You're sitting, waiting for something to happen. And you get jaded because, as we've evolved, especially in big cities, you're more of a social worker because you're getting called to crap that's not even emergencies.
Like what?
The flu. I got,
Really?
oh, dude. You're taking me to the hospital. Why? I got the flu and I don't have insurance or blah, 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 whatever,
So they call an ambulance?
Yeah. Oh, God.
That's if you don't have
Or
insurance.
worse. I've had people call me for a hangnail. Yeah, seriously. That's a real call I had.
Wait.
For a hangnail. I'm like, why are we here? So you get stuff like that over and over again, and you start getting upset. Like,
I can 100%.
totally.
Especially if you've already gone on 15 calls that day.
Yeah.
And then now you get called out for a hangnail. You literally got
I
called.
got called out for a hangnail. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Is that the dumbest call you've ever got called out for?
As far as I remember, that's probably the dumbest call, right?
I mean, what do you legally have to help the person, or do you get there and be like, let me see it, and then get back in your car?
Every incident number requires some kind of paperwork.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, really? Like, I'm going to have to write up, even if it's a small write-up, for a hangnail? You want to go to the hospital for this? Cool. I'll take you to the hospital. You'll wait 8 hours to see. Probably not even. You're going to get put at the bottom of the list, right? A lot of now, because of the homeless population and all the stuff that's going on in big cities, it's almost impossible to get seen in an ER. It's ridiculous.
Okay. Let's talk that.
Mm-hmm.
Homelessness.
Yes.
What's it like being in a big city as a first responder dealing with the homeless population?
It's hard.
How?
It's hard to maintain empathy.
Why?
Because you could listen to the narrative and say these people are drug addicts and what is the term that they use for them? They say they don't call them homeless. There was another word Jesus, I forgot the name. But it's their PC version of homeless, house challenged or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So you realize that a lot of these people come from other cities. I'll never forget a call. We had a guy, and I asked him, he was like 20 years old, homeless. And he said, I asked him, well, hey, where are you from? He said, I'm from Minnesota. I go, why don't you go back there, dude? Just go back. Why are you here?
Warmer.
He said, why would I go back there? And he starts laughing. He goes, I'd be a fool to go back. I go, why? Well, the city's giving me $900. They're giving me needles, and if I want, I can get drugs. They're giving me drugs, money, grocery, and everything. And I go, oh, I see that. Okay. Why don't you get a job? Why would I?
Did you see, in your 27 years, did you see like a spike in homelessness in San Francisco?
Yeah.
When did it start to get bad?
So when I left from the city to the airport,
Okay.
it was bad.
Okay.
When I came back, oh my God. And not only did it get worse, but before we would get a heroin overdose, that was a common call. You'd give them 2 milligrams of Narcan, intramuscular, bam, they're awake. Well, enter fentanyl. That's a different game, a much different game. Now you're giving them 10 milligrams, and they're waking up groggy.
Really?
It's way stronger. Fentanyl is way stronger than heroin. I don't know what the numbers are, but is it 100 times? I don't know. But we would, on average, my last few years, I was going out as rescue captain, a paramedic captain. So there was 4 captains in the city, and you each have a quadrant.
Okay.
So if you end up in the downtown area or the Mission District, you're getting a lot of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
A lot.
That's where you were?
I would rove, so I didn't have a spot. So I would get to the firehouse. They go, hey, you're being detailed out to the captain's spot. And so it's cool because you get your own vehicle and you get to do what you want, but you get called out to critical calls like cardiac arrests, overdoses, shooting, stabbing, stuff like that. And so I remember a buddy of mine saying, hey, be careful with this job. You're going to see so much death that it's going to affect you after a while. So, keep an eye on yourself, right? And you did. So in the 2 or 3 years that I was doing it, it's got to the point where every day you're seeing dead people, but in regards to the homeless, I don't know, like by number, it just seemed like it got worse. So the more you give, the more the city gives and pays, the more are going to come. So when they say, oh, it's people that lost their job and this, no, it's a lie. And then you realize that it's an industry. So I had a friend of mine that was, he retired. He was like considered the homeless guru, and he was very astute at what he did. And he was putting a dent in the problem. Well, he gets a call.
Doesn't like that.
No, San Francisco doesn't like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure California, but this was a city thing. Because there are so many agencies that are involved in the homeless that are profiting from it, they don't want a cure, dude. It's like a lot of the medical stuff. They don't want a cure. Mm-mm. So he was told to stand down, and they eliminated his position. And he was making a dent in the situation, like finding homeless people help and all that. It's like, wait a minute. So that's where I started like seeing things a little bit differently. Like, oh, you guys there's way more corruption than people realize that goes on. Because when you see the underbelly of the devil over there, it's not pretty.
Yeah, it's I remember seeing some numbers from these charities in San Francisco, and they were asking them about their funding, and I mean they're making tens of millions. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say in the hundreds, but a lot. And the staff were making so much money.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And here people are donating, or they're just funded by the government programs through our corrupt politicians, which we've seen all of that.
Yep.
And then these organizations are just cashing in.
Yeah.
And here I am with my charity. We're like, oh my God, how do we spend a fucking dollar for this? And worried about everything. And now we've got these presidents that are on these boards and
buckets of money.
And here you drive down the street and it's just littered, littered with tents and needles and feces, and I mean it's so sad of that, and that just shows the corruption of from the top down. Is that you take our correctional facilities, you take the homeless, everything. If there's money to be made, I mean, the corruption is just unreal with our government in the cities, in these towns, because they're all
bottom up.
Yeah, they're all just making money off of it.
So like San Francisco is a microcosm. I call like the fire department is a microcosm of the city. The city is a microcosm of the state, and which is what led me to come here, right? But I remember. I had a very close friend of mine that got addicted to heroin. And
was he a firefighter? Or?
No, she was not. It was just a friend of mine, and I don't want to like disclose or anything, but
no, yeah,
someone close to me, right?
Okay.
And so this person went on to methadone, and we would take her to a methadone clinic. Mm-hmm. So I'm keeping my eye. I'm driving her there almost every day, the days that I'm not working, and I'm keeping an eye on her. I go, what's your dose? Oh, they keep increasing the dose. I go, okay, time out. I talk to the counselor. I go, why are you increasing her dose? Well, she's having pain and da-da-da. I go, can I ask you a question? And she goes, yeah. I go, you don't want to lose her as a client. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, well, in all my days over here, I'm seeing people in their 50s and 60s that have been coming here for 30 years. Why don't you work to get them off instead of getting them dependent? I go, but I already know. It's a redundant question. I already know the answer is because you lose your funding.
Yeah. And
she just neglected, or she refused to go on with the conversation. So, I mean, think about that for a second, right? You're choosing profit over somebody's well-being.
You don't make money off of healthy people.
There's no profit in the cure, right? Cancers, all that stuff, dude. We can go on. This is a really deep hole, but that hit me personally because this person was someone very close to me, and I'm like, whoa, you guys are evil, dude. You know, so
It's absolutely evil of how I had big hopes for RFK when he came on and all of that stuff, and I was really hoping it would get things back on track. I've seen some changes and there's been some things, whatever, but the amount of pure evil that would rather profit than actually help people get healthy is mind blowing.
overwhelming.
It's disgusting of how, and we're just cool with it.
Yeah,
because it doesn't affect us.
yeah.
But meanwhile, you have, I mean, the VA is the most perfect example. If we truly wanted to help these veterans, like, why aren't we prescribing them or setting up clinics to help these guys with ayahuasca or shrooms or even weed? Let's just take weed, for example.
Sure.
I worked with a vet, and I might have talked about him on the podcast before, but I have a buddy. That dude was on 40, 50 different pills, but pills throughout the day. He'd take multiple of each pill. This dude was a zombie, and the VA's just pumping him. I mean, this guy's got giant bottles of pills.
Yeah.
And then he one day was like, "Fuck, I'm zombied out of my mind. I'm gonna get off this. I'm just gonna start eating edibles, smoking weed." And he made his own butter and shit. Changed his whole life around.
Yeah.
If they truly cared about us, like, why can't they prescribe these guys a pack of pre-rolled joints?
Sure. Or I'll take it to
Pens.
I'll give you another example that I just experienced about 2 months ago with my dad, who is a vet, and I went in with him to he's 86 years old. He doesn't get it, right? So I got him on TRT,
Okay.
on testosterone replacement, on a cream. He's not injecting it. And I'm like, Dad, I think it can help you. And so I've done my research. I realized that, the old school thinking was, oh, you're going to get prostate cancer, or your blood thickens and you'll have a heart attack. Maybe your blood will thicken, but there's ways to deal with that. But it doesn't give you prostate cancer. So we're paying for him from a service, from an online service. So I'll go, let's go talk to your primary about whatever he's got, asthma and stuff. So I said to her, I go, look, can we, instead of spending the $100 a month, can you prescribe him TRT? Oh no. That causes prostate cancer. So I'm a little bit of a contrarian. I don't mind looking at somebody and saying, no, you're wrong. And I looked at her, I go, doctor, all due respect, you're objectively wrong, and you need to look at this. I go, because I've seen the forums about the guys that want it, and none of you will. I go, is it a cost thing or what? Well, they just beat around the bush. There's no proof that it helps. I go, man, he's taking it and he's doing fantastic. He's more vibrant. I mean, does he have a young girl? No, he's 86. He's not doing that part of it, but he's more vibrant. And when he starts running out, he goes, hey, I need to get some more. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's get you some, right?
Yeah, they have a hard time prescribing you a TRT or a testosterone to help get you back on track, but they'll give you Ozempic. They'll prescribe that to you, no problem.
Right.
But, the testosterone may cause cancer, colon cancer, whatever it may be, but here you are giving out Ozempic that kills your bone marrow,
right,
increases the risk of cancer by like 70%. It's insane of how our medical field or our medical industry, what they consider healthy or not. That's
well, if a guy in his 50s goes in to a regular GP and says, hey, I'm kind of like feeling low and this and that, low energy, a little bit of depression or whatever, the first thing they're going to do is give him like something like a Celexa or a Prozac.
Every time.
Right. But they're not going to sit there and go, hey, let's check your free and total testosterone and see what you're doing there.
Yeah. Let's see
where
where your levels are.
Whoa, you're below? You're like 200?
Yeah.
Let's get you on that. Because I did some nutrition coaching and help people out for a little bit. I got tired of it because nobody listens to you, but whatever.
Yeah.
And I would say, hey, check your levels. Oh, you're low. Okay. Wow, I feel amazing after 2 months of being on this stuff.
Yep.
And you don't have to take a lot, just a little bit. Get back to where you were when you were 30 or whatever.
Yeah, you don't need to be running and have 1,000 count on as your test levels.
No.
I mean, but if you're at the 200-300s, like, cool. If you want to hover 700-800,
It's perfect.
there's nothing wrong with that. But our medical
No, they don't listen.
is so
Dude, that's
that's
a
a whole other.
we could do a
corruption.
whole episode on that right there.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to me that and nobody questions it because it's our medical professionals and They know what they're doing. I mean, I went into a doctor. This woman is trying to give me medical advice, and she's 400 pounds.
Exactly. Yeah, you're like, really? And look at you. You're in shape. You're good looking,
She's literally sitting there, and I'm sitting on the bed. My feet are like dangling, and she's sitting there with this clipboard telling me what I need to do. And I'm the whole time she's talking to me, I'm like,
Yeah, you're dying to say something.
oh,
Oh,
I'd look at my wife. My wife's like behind her, like, oh, just shut the fuck. And I'm looking at my wife like,
you're killing me, man. I
like
love
she's
that.
giving me medical advice. You're
Right.
400 pounds and you're a doctor. And
Right.
you have the audacity. Like you
How
don't
dare you?
you don't walk in like, hey, actually, we need you to start eating like this. Like, and you're not in your mind like, wow, I'm a huge piece of shit telling people to get healthy, and I'm not even healthy. I just don't understand how someone's mind just work. I would feel so horrible giving somebody advice on something that was a complete, like, I don't even know how to compare it. It's so hilarious to me that you talk to these doctors and they're out of shape, and you're telling people what health is.
You could be a comedy. You could do a comedy show with what you just did right there. That would be a great skit right there because the whole place would be laughing. But it's true.
Yes.
I remember.
I'm not even trying to make it funny. Like, that's just the reality of our medical industry now, is that you're going to sit here at 400 pounds telling me what I need to do to get my body back on track. But at the same time, you're giving me pills.
Right. Right.
Instead of, hey, here's a prescription, or here's a membership, because this prescription is going to cost this much, but we can give you a membership to the gym, or, hey, we recommend going on a 30-minute walk every day.
Right.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be like, yeah, you should go on a 5-minute walk. Like,
Yeah. Right after you eat, go for a 20-minute walk. It'll reduce your blood sugar, right? We all know that.
Yep.
But instead of telling people, go to the gym, prioritize protein. Maybe don't eat processed food. It's so easy. So easy. Avoid alcohol as much as possible. No, we're going to give you this pill. Oh, and then you're going to need to take another pill to counteract the effects of that pill.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because I had an endocrinologist that I went to because my cholesterol was just like a little bit high. And he was not 400 pounds, but he had a big belly, and he's telling me, well, do you drink cream in your coffee? I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, not good for you. Really? Like an ounce of cream is not good for, well, cumulatively. And then I'm going, okay, so what should I do? Well, it's probably time for you to get on statins. I'm like, I'm not going to get on statins, dude. I'm gonna. So that's when I started getting into the nutrition thing and brought my levels down to normal levels.
Yeah.
All it took was sleep better, eat better, prioritize protein, exercise, walk.
Imagine that.
Right?
Crazy.
And he's telling me, you don't need to be on testosterone. And I'm like, you do.
I don't know why that's such a thing. Why it to me, how my mind works with where we're at with our country.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the government or medical are telling us, like us as a family, we're like, we're gonna go the opposite.
Sure, for sure.
So if they're sitting here telling everybody like, you don't need tests. Oh, you're around 250, 300 for your levels. That's fine. It's average.
They've lowered the averages.
They have lowered the average. And so why? Why all of a sudden are we lowering the average? And now why is everybody's average lower?
Right.
Like, what's causing that?
That's a whole nother conversation. But I will tell you what my conspiracy theory is about the not getting guys on tests is because they don't want strong men in this country.
No.
Right? That is an affront to a lot of people. Now, some people watching this will go, oh, this guy's, conspiracy. But there's some truth about that. I've saw it through the years, whether it was in the firehouse or whatever. There is a kind of aversion to strong men,
100%.
right? And I'll say it, strong white men were not really. I was looked down upon, and people go, "Well, you're Jewish." I go, "That's a religion. I'm white, right? I don't have any special whatever, and I'm not religious, so it doesn't like. What do you mean?" And I remember telling a gal friend of mine, she was Filipino, she was my girlfriend, and I go, "Do you see this hatred coming towards white people?" I go, "You're not seeing it? You don't know what you're talking about." I go, "It's everywhere. It's everywhere." And whatever the agenda is, it's like, I'm not going to walk around being ashamed of who I am.
Hell
no.
Hell no.
No. So I had this thing where when people would talk about white privilege, I go, yeah, I believe in white privilege. And I have a picture on my phone of military crosses, white crosses and stuff. I go, that's privilege. They died so you can have your stupid privilege to say white privilege.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a history buff, and I did a lot of, like, one of my dream trips is to go to Normandy.
Oh,
I really want. Have you been there?
no.
Okay, I'm dying to go there. Like,
I had a guest on, and his brother stormed the beaches and got killed,
wow.
and was in like a special unit.
Yeah.
And he sat right there and told the story, and I had the
Insane.
goosebumps because I want to go so bad. I got to travel. So if you're a historic buff, so I was in the 1st Marine Division, which is the most decorated division in the Marine Corps, at least I believe.
Thank you for your service, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Don't quote me on that, all you TikTok warriors. But I'm pretty sure it's the most decorated division in the Marine Corps.
That's cool. Man.
Anyways, I got to fly to the Solomon Islands.
Yeah.
Because that's like the birthplace of the 1st Marine Division, and that's where Chesty Puller and all that's where it's such a historic monument, place, monumental place for the division. So I got to go back for the ceremony, and they brought back a bunch of the vets that stormed the beaches.
Wow.
Because I was supposed to be, because I was the 1st Marine Division color sergeant. So I traveled the whole country. I got to travel the world representing the colors. And long story short, we ended up Australia. We flew in Australia, and they ended up confiscating all of our rifles and our flags because they said they were U.S. military memorabilia, and they wouldn't let it. So we ended up going to the Solomon Islands with no flags.
Oh, wow.
No weapons. Like, even demilled, our rifles were demilled. They were just for show.
Right.
And so, yeah, Australia seized all of our stuff. So I got to spend like 6 days with all of these war vets that stormed the beaches.
But the stories you heard, I'm probably were
unreal.
insane.
It was one of the coolest highlights of my military career, was going and being able to just
so
travel
cool,
the islands and like to be on the beaches that like this war hero.
Yeah.
We went to a beach, and this dude is, I'll be on my deathbed and I'll remember this for the rest of my life. This dude's name was Ernest, and him and I bonded. He was just crusty old vet, and we went to this beach, and he was kind of off by himself.
Yeah.
And I was watching, I'm the young buck, and so I got a million questions, and I kind of look over and I see him by himself, and I give him a few minutes. I end up going over, and I'm like, "Hey, you good, buddy?" Because I'm helping these guys climb on things and all that good stuff. And I walk over to this old Marine, and I was like, "Hey, Ernest," I'm like, "You good, sir?" And he's like, "I stormed this beach when I was 17.
Whoa.
I was like, "What?"
Wow.
He's like, "I landed on this beach on this island when I was 17 years old," and he goes, "They told us 75% of us weren't going to make it off the beach." I couldn't even imagine being a 17 and like I get major goosebumps.
I mean, there's a 3 to 1 chance that I'm not going to make it here.
And I look at our kids these days, and like these how I'm gonna get on how soft we are, but here's a 17-year-old kid told, "Hey, 75% of you aren't going to make it off the beach.
Yeah. Good
luck."
Yeah.
And so, fortunately for him, the enemy didn't realize that they were hitting that side of the island, that their focus was all elsewhere. So he said when they hit the beach, he remembers screaming and running as far and as fast as they could to get to the tree line,
Right.
and not one shot was ever fired because they didn't know that they were there. And I asked him, I was like, "What's different?" And he goes, "I remember running forever to the tree line." He goes, "I feel like the trees have grown in." But it was just super cool to be able to experience and travel. It would be like us going back to like Fallujah or Ramadi with a bunch of young, Marines that are representing, and then like walking them through like, "Oh man, we fucked this house up, blew this mosque up over here." So it was really cool for me to be able to experience that as a young Marine, to be able to go back to the Solomon Islands during the island hopping campaign.
And those are nasty battles from what I read, right?
Oh,
the Pacific Theater, I mean, they were all terrible, but man, I mean, jungle, 100-degree heat, sweaty,
face to
humid.
face. Yeah. They were telling me, he told me a story. There's on the island, on the top of this mountain, there's a monument for the missing soldier.
Okay.
And so he said they would hear the enemy climbing the cliffs at night.
Yeah.
And they would shoot flares, and they could see where the guys were climbing up, and they would pull their pins out of their grenades, and they would milk them and he said they would get so good at being able to time that the grenade would be falling by the enemy and explode, and they said they would just watch dudes peel off these cliffs as they were trying to. And we stood on there as there used to be a bunker on top. It was one of the coolest experiences
I can't
that
imagine. That's so
I got
neat.
to do in my military career. Is just travel this island where these guys were fighting to the death,
Right.
in trenches, fighting holes. I mean, it just
And no hospitals. I mean, you're down. You're down. That's. I mean, you got to get carted off, right, to a ship or something.
I mean, you look. So you as a paramedic firefighter, right? You get to a call where someone gets shot, bandaged up, you rush them to the hospital, turned over to the ER. Like, I look back at those days, those guys, they're on the island, and you imagine taking a round and you're in some tropical rainforest and you get shot in the gut.
Hours.
Days.
Yeah. You're going to die.
Agonizing pain.
Yeah.
Like, just trying to just get
It was
through
a
it.
different world back then, man, right?
Storming the beaches and just lose a leg and you just throw a tourniquet on it and everybody just keeps fighting and you're laying there for hours and during this battle.
No thanks. But that was our reality back then.
It was.
Right?
Was there ever a time that you felt powerless in being able to help somebody while you were on the job?
Powerless.
Not being able to help or do enough?
You know, well, those pulmonary embolism calls, you can't really do much because you already know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, if you don't feel like you can do enough, is because the person doesn't want to help themselves, right? They keep getting stuck in the same situation, which usually with drug addiction. But I've never been in a situation where I wasn't able to do something and meaning I wasn't able to perform my task.
Okay.
I was good at it. I'm one thing I could do was stay calm in the moment. And that comes from learning at that job at a young age.
Okay.
I think I trained people in their 30s and 40s that they weren't able to do that because. I mean, I don't want to try to compare this to golf, but when you learn golf in your 30s, it's not like when you learn golf in your teens, or you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It came natural to me, and I was and so my son and I, years ago, we were getting sushi. We came out of the sushi restaurant, and somebody got hit on a one of those little scooters or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And I took the call on, and I was off duty, and I knew the crew that was coming. And he goes, "Dad, I saw you just so calm. Like, you just calmly handle this. You're dealing with this person. Someone was freaking out, saying, 'Who are you to tell me to do this?'" I go, so I used an F word. I said, "I'm the effing medic over here, so, whatever." And he remembers that. I don't remember saying that, but he said it. And so, no, I've never been at a situation where I didn't feel like I could do enough.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
What is something that movies get wrong about firefighters?
Movies.
Because as a vet, I always watch. I can't. The wife refuses to watch any military. I'm like, wrong. Doesn't blow up like we ruin everything.
Yeah.
What is something in like movies or shows about firefighters that is you see wrong?
If you see those shows, they're constantly going to fires every single minute of the day, right?
Okay.
It's like, oh, we had 5 fires. That doesn't happen.
Okay.
Now, could it? Yeah. I mean, maybe there's some New York suburbs that that they light up or whatever, but you're not carrying people out of fires on a daily basis. That doesn't happen.
No?
No. And you're not throwing them over your shoulder and walking downstairs. Does it happen? Sure, it could.
Okay.
I've never carried anybody out, so everything is glorified, right? Just like you see with the military.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess you never think of every show is you're going on a call every day. And what is something that goes on behind closed doors that most civilians don't realize, like in the firehouse? It doesn't have to be either way, like good or bad. What's something that we don't realize that goes on day to day inside the firehouse?
A lot of the joking.
Yeah.
And that's a coping mechanism, right?
For sure.
You might say some off-color stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
obviously I won't repeat that stuff that we would do, but so people. I remember when I was married, I was told, you can't bring the firehouse into the house.
Okay.
Maybe I swore a little bit too much, or I was a little bit cold. and that was just my facade,
Yeah.
right? And I was young then, though. I was in my 30s.
Mhm.
Things change when you get a little older, and you see things through a perspective, right? A different perspective, a different lens. So yeah, that's probably it, But what people don't understand is not every firehouse is everybody loves each other.
Okay.
It's like anything, man.
Drama.
Well, you could be with somebody for 24 hours and absolutely can't stand that person.
That'd be rough.
And it happens.
Oh yeah.
You're at the table. It's not often, but there were times where I was like, God, I'd like to just punch this guy right in his nose because he's just a jerk. He doesn't treat people well, or he doesn't pull his weight, or he gossips behind people's back. So most firemen are good and they have good intentions, but we're not all perfect. We all have our flaws, and
Yep.
so yeah, that's something people don't realize. Like maybe we're just normal people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when you're forced, most people go to work, they clock in at 9 o'clock and they leave at 5 o'clock. They don't have to deal with it. Well, we clock in at 8 and we're not leaving until 8 the next morning.
Yep.
So a lot of things happen in that 24. Now add an overtime shift onto that, and now you're there for 48
yeah.
or more. Some departments do 48-hour shifts. That's a long time to be around people that you may not want to be around.
That would be rough.
Yeah.
And that becomes cancer.
Yes, and as I left, I worked in a great firehouse, my final firehouse. It was a great place, and people were great. But they were all lefties. And me and my brother came in, and we were the only, conservative guys there. And they were like, I don't get it. You guys are Jewish. You're supposed to be liberals. I go, no, there's no such thing as that. So maybe a lot of Jews are, but I'm not. I grew up in a conservative household. Both parents are from other countries. One got kicked out. So my dad is a straight up conservative, right? And all of my brothers are. So that was a difficult part, because politics, as I'm leaving, that's when it started to get really, like everything was.
That's my next question.
Everything.
Because obviously, when I talk to law enforcement, the politics are horrible. I personally don't really ever consider it happening in the fire department community. Do politics play a huge role?
Huge.
In the fire department?
Huge.
How?
People have their opinions.
Okay.
So what you'll get certain firehouses that they're known, like, oh, there's a bunch of conservative guys there, or this is a liberal firehouse.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So
sure.
you'll see firehouses, like, guys will kind of cherry pick who they want at these houses based off of their.
Well, they won't necessarily cherry pick them, but the guys that are a certain way will tend to lean and go to another firehouse if they have the seniority to make that house. And I remember,
Oh shit!
I had the house that I was at, even though they were all liberals over there, they were great people, and I would trust them with my life, but we differed politically.
For sure.
And my brother was the joker. He used to like to poke them. He had this way of leaving the firehouse in the morning and stirring the pot like crazy.
And then walking out.
And the whole place is abuzz, right? He was excellent. If you're watching, you did it.
That's a skill.
He was good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was more of, if you challenge me, I'm probably going to get upset because I don't want to hear your BS, right? Yeah. So I tried to avoid the conversation because I'm not afraid of giving my opinion. I just didn't feel like I needed to. Mm-hmm. I don't have to explain the way that I think, or just because I'm part of this group that I have to think this way. There was a guy that I worked with that I just stopped talking to him because he couldn't understand. He goes, I did the research. He told me this. He goes, I did the research, and Jews are this way and that way, and they should be. I go, listen to what you're saying. I should? I go, everything's in context. You don't know my story, right? You don't know who I am. Mm-hmm. You don't know what my familial history is and why we are the way that we are. So but that's that group thing. And I didn't accept me for the way that I am. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, cool. We don't have to be friends. We
have to have this conversation. Yeah.
We don't have to. I don't care if you don't like but it was funny. I asked this guy when in the middle of arguing and discussing politics and why I voted for Trump and all this other stuff. I said, if you had $1 million right now that you needed secured for 24 hours, who would you give it to? He goes, I give it to you. I go, do you hear the irony in your voice? I go, me. this right winger who voted for Trump, you'd give me the $1 million. He goes, why?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's crazy how far we've gotten with politics.
Crazy, dude.
And how divided we are, when in reality there's no difference. There's no difference in either side. They're all playing us. They're all against us.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem saying I voted for Trump. To me, it was the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
I vote for more of the common sense. Well, try to vote for the common sense side
Sure.
of things, right? For at least how my mind works. But it's like, even watching what's going on now without releasing the Epstein files, and the FBI director, Kash Patel, like what they're trying to hide and cover, like it just shows you they're politicians.
Right.
And as long as the media has us all fighting in the trenches, and we're all fighting over transgender bullshit and
Yep.
all this other crap, they're just sitting and laughing because we can't come together as a country.
That's right.
and fight these people. And like, here we are celebrating the 4th of July that we fought originally for taxes and all this other shit, and now we're paying 30% taxes to buy a fucking firework.
Right.
And nobody's bitching about it because we're so distracted on fighting all of our other problems. And it's crazy to me. And I hope more and more of the country's waking up and realizing, like, yeah, there's a left and right, but it's them versus us. And
Right.
as long as we're fighting and we're distracted by all
For them.
Diddy, and we got the Diddy trials, and then Trump's doing this and Biden's doing this, and all of us are so distracted, we're not going to sit back and be like, dude, this country is fucked right now.
Yeah.
And we could get it back on track, but instead we're arguing, we're fighting, we're protesting, it's so crazy to me to sit back and watch. And like, I'm at that stage in my life now where I say it all the time on this podcast, I am team fuck the government.
Right.
That goes for the left and the right.
100.
But if I have to vote, I have my political beliefs and my religious beliefs,
Yeah.
and it's more right than it is. But
Sure.
like, it doesn't mean if somebody came along and there was some random party that had all my same beliefs and things that I could stand up for, and they want to make a difference, I'll go with that. It just I'm not loyal to any party. I don't even want to say I'm loyal to this country anymore because they sent our fucking asses to war.
Yeah.
And it was all a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember calling that out during the Iraq thing, right? And you remember 9/11, right? Obviously, it was charged.
I'm from New York, so
right?
yeah.
So you get it. It was charged, and we're like,
That's why I
we
signed.
got to do this. You and a lot of other guys. Thank you for doing that. But then I'm going, wait a minute. Why are body bags coming back? And I remember this. Now, maybe I fell into this, but there was this town called Lafayette in California.
They got a badass football team.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
High school team,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah. Is that De La Salle or something like that? Or I think I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah,
They're
they
like,
got a badass football team. Anyway, sorry. That was,
that's all right. So on the freeway, I was living in the East Bay for a while, and I was commuting to go to work. All of a sudden, these white crosses would show up on a hill, and then like 100 became 1,000, 1,000 became 2, and I'm like, is this not cool? Like, like, what are we doing here? And then as I met more veterans, and then when I went through the Save a Warrior program, which is much later, and I'm seeing the effects of what war has done to people, no good. So whether it's right or left, someone's benefiting from it, right?
yeah, money's to be made.
Sucks, dude.
I remember this is one of those moments in my life that I'll put in a book one day, but we're in the middle of Iraq. The sandstorm rolls in, and my buddy's on post, and I'm up. I had the day off, and I'm up bullshitting with him. I fall asleep in this post because it was just quiet up there. It was just him and I bullshitting. So I take a nap, and the sandstorm rolls in. And I wake up, and I had goggles on and like a gator, like a buff on my face. And when I open my eyes, like I sit up, and just dust just pours off. And he's sitting there, and we had all the weapons were trash bagged and everything. Anyways, I look at him, and I'm like, so where are these weapons of mass destruction when we were there? And he starts laughing, but it became like this joke, like, okay, we're here to like find weapons of mass destruction. And this is like my second deployment here, and we still haven't fucking found any, and nothing's changing, and people are still dying. And so it wasn't, and I wasn't even woke then. That came later on in life. But then now that I'm seeing this whole Israel, Iran, Ukraine, Russia shit, and
It's like, a military. It's an industry.
100% an industry. And as long as we're at war, people are making money.
Yeah.
And that goes for contractors. It goes for everything.
And so that takes the human equation out of it. And then when you see guys coming back, whether they have PTSD or they have one limb or two limbs blown off, that is not cool. So I agree with you. F the government, man.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
It's tough for me to sit and like, I don't want to say not be patriotic, because I'll always be patriotic, but like, I feel there's a huge, I don't know, maybe it's just me and a couple of my buddies, but I feel that there's this huge group of veterans in this world or in this country that are like, bro, we got played.
Yep.
We got played.
I hate to say that because I don't want to disrespect any veteran, but the intentions were great, right? All the respect to you guys. But what they did,
we didn't know.
You didn't know. No, you were doing you were in your mind saying, "Hey, we're going to go make a difference.
Yeah, I'm going to go defend my country.
Right.
These guys attacked us, and then come to find out CIA,
right?
Everybody's in on it.
Right.
Like,
this was a plan, right? Sorry, man. I mean,
you know, I have some of the best friends I've ever had in my life and ever will have in my life. I got my wife and kids because of the military. I mean, I don't. It would be tough for me to, like, if I had a son, to be like, yeah, following your dad's footsteps. It would be hard for me. I know dudes that they're super pumped because their kids are joining the military. I mean, I look at them like,
Yep.
Now, if you want to join because you're patriotic, you just want to defend your country, cool. But that's what I was doing, and then come to find out it was all a lie. So it would be really hard for me to like be excited to support a child going into the military, knowing what we know now.
Yeah.
I would much rather him go blue collar or go firefighter or EMS EMTs or whatever.
Yeah, EMS. So, I mean, I was talking to a kid the other day that was at, God, where was it? He was at a hat shop. I had a hat made. He was a young guy, like 20 years old, and he found out I was a retired firefighter. He goes, I'm going to be a plumber. I go, dude, that's so cool, because the trades are the new gold mine. And I said, look, think about getting into the fire service, because he wanted to do it, but he goes, I think I can make more plumbing and this and that. I go, you're not on the wrong path. Either way, you'll do good.
For sure.
Because the trades, AI is never going to be able to wrench a pipe. There's no way, right? I hope not, right? And so the trades are going to be a big. These guys are going to write their tickets for sure.
I tell you, I speak on it. I have a lot of dads that have their kids reach out and be like, "Hey, my son wants to join," and I'm like, "Don't join, dude.
Yeah,
go trades."
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if you're a piece of shit kid or you got a turd kid, and he just needs to get his life on track, military is incredible for that.
Sure.
That is one thing the military will do, is square your kid away real fast, especially the Marines.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking Army, because I've seen a lot of dudes come in turds and leave turds. At least from my experience in the military and the Marine Corps, you're going to get lined out real quick.
Yep.
So that's a huge benefit of the military, and it's going to help you mature. It's not going to make you a man, but it's going to help you mature quicker, just guide you along.
Yeah.
Cool. But I mean, you go through lineman school, you're going to be working with 50, 60 other students. You're going to be learning the same thing.
Yep.
But you're going to be making so much more money if you go trades. God, I look at it now, and that's why I tell these kids, I'm like, join the Air Force or go trades.
Yep.
That's my advice.
Yeah.
If I were to tell anybody right now, the young kids graduating, if you want to go military, go Air Force. They're the most spoiled. They got the most best chow halls. They got the best looking women. They got everything. Right? Go trades. If that's not what you want,
man.
Trades. You're gonna be coming out now. I mean, God, these apprentices are making so much money. Nobody wants to do the trades, so you're able to get so much work. You're able to get work a lot quicker, and that's plumbing, electric, gas, anything.
Well, if you look at the newer generation or the younger generation now, so I manage property in San Francisco, and there are people that can't change light bulbs in their 30s.
That's wild to me.
And they're asking, I'm like, what? And then we would go to calls where here's a funny call, stupid. They would call us out to change a battery on a smoke detector. Smoke detector's going off. Thought I'd call the fire department. Really? Oh yeah, that happens all the time. Talk to any fire. I'm sure in an urban environment like that, you're gonna get it. It happened to us all the time. Now, if you're 90 years old and you don't want to get on a stool, I'll happily do it for you.
For sure.
100. This is a great one. So we have a tenant in the building in San Francisco. He was a fighter pilot in World War II.
Damn.
He's 101, and he's like sharp as a tack. Amazing dude, right? if he calls and asks for something, I'm doing it yesterday.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. And I'm like, Earl, ask. We call him Colonel. I go, Colonel, ask.
Yep.
Whatever you want, we'll do for you. Now, if you're 30 and you can't do, I'm like, figure out how to change that bulb.
For sure.
So, and he called me the other day, and he goes, Raf, I'm in the VA. I got COVID. I think this might be it, And I'm like, no, I don't think so. So like a few days later, he goes, okay, I'm back home, man. I'm good. They didn't get me this time, So, yeah, it's a different. The younger kids don't. So the more you have people that don't know how to fix a simple leak or change this or that, the trades are going to make. You're going to be like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Before you know it, they'll be making 150, 200 an hour, right?
Oh, 150, 200,000 a year.
Good.
Easily.
Good. I want that.
Yeah.
So
here's the $1 million question as a
Yeah.
firefighter.
Yeah.
Have you ever rescued a cat out of a tree?
No. I can't stand cats, man. Never.
That's my biggest thing. I'm like,
No.
have you ever seen a dead cat in a tree?
No.
Those motherfuckers will find their way out every
No.
time. But
No.
I had to ask that question.
No, I know that. Maybe that's the other thing that people think of. Oh, did you rescue cats? Or I remember I used to play a lot of golf, and I'd play. I stopped now because when the COVID hit, everybody started going out there. I'm like, I don't want to be out here anymore, so I started focusing on my health. I was out there with a bunch of these .comers playing, and when they found that was when they were collapsing. The .com industry was kind of, I think it was like 2009 or 10. And when they found out I was a firefighter, they're like, "Oh, you're one of those guys that we have to pay taxes to pay for your pension and all that." I go, "Well, you're a .comer?" "Yeah." I go, "Why didn't you become a firefighter?" "Well, we're going to make a lot of money in the .com industry." I go, "And you made a lot of money, right?" "Well, yeah, but now we're losing it." I go, "You could have become a firefighter. Why didn't you become a firefighter?"
Mm-hmm.
But that hate is inherent in certain people. Some people don't like to see you do well. Now, did I become a multimillionaire? No, I didn't. But I got a pension, and I'm able to live a good lifestyle now and do other stuff. So why hate? But you get it.
So where does the beef between cops and firefighters come in?
There's really not a true beef.
No?
No. There's not like we hate those guys.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a rival. Okay, I should say rivalry because cops think they're better and firefighters think they're better. At least from a civilian point of view. Where does that stem from?
Jealousy.
Because you guys have the better looking vehicles and nobody hates.
Well, people love us, right?
For sure.
You love firefighters.
For sure.
Everybody's going to love us. And people don't like cops until they really need them, right? My daughter, who's a paramedic, her boyfriend is a gang task force cop. Solid dude. Like, I really like this guy.
Yeah.
And we talk about kind of this stuff all the time. And, people... And the media is very responsible for what they've done to the police officers. I would hate to be a cop right now and having to deal with what they deal with. Yeah. But we would have cops over at the firehouse and make them dinner. They'd come over for dinner all the time.
That's cool.
I loved them. I mean, some of my good friends are cops.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever met him, but he left to Utah now. But it was a good friend of mine, my workout buddy. He was a Southern California cop, and we're the same. We're just out there doing it's a different job. Ours is more fun, though, I think. You know what I mean?
I mean, I talked to some cops, so I feel like some have fun. The highway guys, I feel, have more fun than like a city cop because you're just dealing with like the most bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
Calls all day. But I have some buddies that run highway, and they're just like trying to catch drug runners.
Yeah.
And they're more messing with people. But yeah, I feel 100% firefighters.
Fun, dude.
A firefighter doesn't show up anywhere and be like, "Fuck, the firefighters are here."
Right.
Yeah. I feel that's probably where it comes from with the cops because everywhere you go, you guys are loved and they're just not.
The neighbors will bring you, during the holidays, they'll bring you cakes or they cooked you a pie and hey, it's just they like us better.
I mean, we bring extra sourdough to the fire department.
Right. Now, do the people go to the police department and do that? Probably not.
No.
They should. I wish they did because I love the cops, right? If you need a cop, but they're handcuffed. They're really handcuffed. And I don't know. This is a little bit different here in Idaho. They're not but in California, dude, I could tell you crazy stories, but,
Like what?
So I had, when I was managing that building in San Francisco, it's in the Richmond district, I'm still managing it. We had a guy come in and defecate in our building. This was in the middle of the pandemic. Walked up to the 4th floor. There's the landing to the roof, and a tenant goes, "Hey, there's somebody up there doing some weird stuff." So I grab a baton. I got an asp at the house over there at the apartment, and he is literally defecating. And I go, "What are you doing?" And he looks at me. He goes, "What do you think I'm doing?" I go, "You better stop that, dude. I'm gonna come over there and crack you." There was no cameras there, Right? He goes, "If you come 1 inch closer, I'm going to throw this at you," and he's at his feces, right? I'm like, "Whoa, touche, okay. I don't want to get..."
Well played.
Right? All right, cool. I call the cops. I'm like, and I embellished a little bit. He's got a weapon or whatever. Never came. And so the guy leaves. To his credit, he had a little bag, and he took his stuff with him. And so I called him back up. I go, "You guys, I was calling you guys. You never came." "Oh, yeah, we came out there." "Yeah, what time?" 11:30. I go, "No, you didn't. I got cameras on the outside. You never came." I call a buddy of mine that was a cop over there. Now, this is going to be, you may want to edit this out, but I'm going to just say whatever. And the guy goes, "Did you give a description of the guy, of the perp?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "What was it?" "It was mid-40s black guy." He goes, "We're not coming out on that." I go, "Why not?" He goes, "We don't want to end up on CNN." This was right after the George Floyd thing. "We don't want to end up having our..." And I go, "Okay, I get it. I don't blame them." I go, "So then what do I do?" He goes, "There's nothing you can do. If you crack that dude, you're going to go to jail."
So,
Right? So they're handcuffed, the cops, especially in liberal cities like that.
how did politics play such a role when it came to that type of stuff for the fire department? Like, is it just... Did you guys have your hands tied with anything, or are you more like what? What were you guys dealing with politically wise that affected your job as a firefighter?
So I wouldn't say it affected in the way we responded to our calls, the way it affected the cops, but internally it affected it.
How?
Because when you have processes like DEI and affirmative action was what they called it.
Yeah.
Now you're getting people, and I'm all about a meritocracy.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna, if you can do the job, you should get the job,
100%.
regardless.
100%.
But when meritocracy becomes a bad word, we have a problem.
Okay.
And we had a problem. So people were getting hired and promoted, and they weren't qualified for it.
Like what? What? Just time and grade, or unqualified because they just couldn't do the job?
Do the job, man.
They're getting promoted because they're a person of color or
Yeah.
female, or
Yeah.
what?
100%.
You saw that a lot?
I saw that a lot. So my brother and I, towards the end of my career, even though I was going out as captain,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a permanent position, right? It would have been kind of cool to end up. That's why I ended up retiring early. So I took a test, and I compared it with other people's results, and there was like a gal that they gave them a multiplier. So if you are in a certain category, you get a multiplier.
Why?
Because the numbers have to reflect a certain balance, right? Because then they'll be, well, we don't want all white males to have this or that or the other. Well, why don't we just get the most qualified person for the job?
Mm-hmm.
Do we want somebody flying an aluminum tube in the middle of the air with 300 people that just because they're classified as because of the color of their skin or their gender? Or do you want the most qualified?
Mm-hmm.
You want the most qualified Marine, SEAL, whatever it is?
Yeah.
Or do we want it based on color and gender? Everything in that fight. Well, now I will say this: the new chief is a good dude. Like I think they're trying to make things better.
Good.
But the previous two were 100% behind that, because everything is driven by who the mayor is. We need this, and there's groups. There are certain groups that are pushing for more promotions and this. So when you have an appointed position that's making, let's say, 250, 300 a year, you're going to have groups that are going to have a say in who gets hired. And it may not even be the chief. The mayor's going to call and say, this is who's going to get appointed to that job.
That is
Incredible.
insane.
So I had the deck stacked against me,
Oh,
totally.
yeah.
And now when I first got into this job, it wasn't like that. I never thought it would turn into that. But San Francisco is a political city.
Very much so.
And it got way worse. And I remember they cut the budget after George Floyd. London Breed was the mayor, and they cut the budget, and they used this BS excuse that I think they took 100 million or 120 million from the cops and put it into groups or communities, and then they're like, oh, we're just going to have more social workers. Well, a social worker cannot respond to a domestic violence call.
No.
Never, because that's going to turn violent, and what are you going to do?
Nothing.
Shake your pen at them?
Yeah.
Right? So it didn't work out. The crime went crazy. We had a DA there by the name of Chesa Boudin. He ended up the first guy, even as crazy as San Francisco is, they recalled him. You ever heard of the guy Chesa Boudin?
Mm-mm.
His parents were in jail for killing cops. His parents were part of the Weather Underground communist group. He had this thing called restorative justice,
Okay.
where there was a revolving door. If you were a person of color and you committed crime, you were out, no matter what, almost no matter what. It had to have been something heinous. It was, the whole thing, even though that was a law, you could walk into a Walgreens and steal $900 and nothing, So San Francisco will feel the effects of that guy being the DA for years.
Oh, look how many companies left.
Oh, it's ridiculous, dude. In my neighborhood, it's crazy.
I think it was like Walgreens or something pulled all their stores, or CVS pulled all their stores out.
Walgreens is almost shut down.
All the Starbucks pulled out of all those areas. I mean, it's insane to me. I actually just saw a video not too long ago. These cops arresting these women, and they're like, it's less than $900. And they're like, yeah, wrong county, motherfucker. I guess they were just the block over. It was different districts or whatever. It didn't fall under the San Francisco County, but these women thought it was California statewide. These cops are like, yeah, you're done. You're threw them in the car because they're like, we don't play those games here.
No, San Mateo County, they're more of a conservative county. You do something, you're going to spend time in jail.
Mm-hmm.
You cross the street and you do it in San Francisco and nothing's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw, a lot of increase in crime because of that. And it's just that, it's that woke mindset. It's a virus, I think,
That's what I just can't understand when it comes to politics. I'll never argue with anybody over politics. I'll stir the pot sometimes because people get so worked up on it. But it's how do you support that? How are you going to vote for that and think that that's, I don't care what side's voting for.
No.
You could just steal $900, walk in and walk out, and nobody can do anything about it.
I've seen it.
How do you feel that that's going to help your city or community?
Right.
How does that benefit it?
Right. So then what ends up happening, obviously, if you go into an Apple store and the guys walk in and you've seen the videos, right? They're stealing tens of thousands of dollars worth of product. What's going to happen? Guess what? The prices are going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's me and you, people that go and pay for our shit, right?
Yep.
We're going to go pay for it. So now we are directly affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think the final straw for me in San Francisco was the way they handled the COVID situation, and I got out.
Oh, yeah.
That's when I came here.
Yeah. Everybody fled.
Everybody fled. Whoa, you guys are trying to control us, everything we do. Luckily, I had a doctor that I didn't know. I'm like, should I do this thing, this vaccine thing? Guy goes, no.
Really?
Yeah, I had a doctor that was like that.
In San Francisco?
In San Francisco.
Oh,
he's a rare guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not naming names because he's probably going to get put on, but he was telling me, he goes, I remember going in there for an assessment on my back and all that. And he told me, he goes, you can take off your mask if you want. Because back then, if you walk into a medical office, you had to have a mask. Yeah. I look at him, I go, really? Take it off? I go, you're the only person that's ever told me that. He goes, you want to go down the rabbit hole? I go, I do. Let's go.
Yeah.
And he just sat there and he goes, look, you're this years old, you're healthy, you have no problems, you ain't dying from this thing. It's the people with the, comorbidities and all that. And he goes, you don't want to take this vaccine, you don't, blah, 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 and all that. And then he got into it about how since the 80s, they've increased the amount of vaccines that people have to take. And now I can still call him. Like my dad was in the hospital with COVID a few months ago, or last year, I think. And they wanted to give him remdesivir. And I heard that's not good. So I called him up. I go, what do you think? He goes, make sure they don't give it to him. Yeah. So I got into it with the attending. I go, don't give it to him. It was under the phone. Why not? I go, I don't have to answer that question. You're not giving it to him. Because I'm on the list as someone with power of attorney for my dad. Yep. That's it. Okay. You know,
They'll push back, man.
they will.
They push.
You have to be aggressive, dude. You know?
You do. Like we don't anymore. We have a really good doctor now, but for the kids. But I mean, the wife would catch shit all the time for not even COVID vaccine, but I'm talking just any vaccines.
Anything.
We've been against them for a long time because she ended up getting a vaccine when she was little, and then the next day had a grand mal seizure. So we put that together. She ended up, I mean, it was like 9 minutes before the paramedics got to the house, and she was locked up the whole time. They hit her with something. She came out of it. We ended up at Chalks Children's Hospital.
Oh my God.
Over Christmas. It was an ordeal, and the wife, that was it. She's like, we're done.
Yeah.
They couldn't prove anything, and they came back to us like, well, sometimes the mind has a hiccup. And my wife's like, we just got a vaccine shot, like a normal checkup shot. And then all of a sudden we're in the hospital with a grand mal seizure, and she's locked up, and yeah, we were done then. And then, but every time we go, and we're like, oh, the girls are behind. And the wife's like, yeah, we're fine.
See, that's what this doctor told me. He goes, if you ever look, obviously you're not going to look at that big piece of paper that comes with the vaccine because they just inject you. He goes, look at it one day.
Look at how many different vaccines.
It'll scare the crap out of you. I said, okay, thank you very much. So I got lucky, because I was like, I didn't know,
Yep.
So
Let's shift gears, dude. You travel the world.
I do.
Why?
When I retired, I wanted to travel, or before my retirement, and then the COVID hit, and you couldn't travel, especially if you didn't get a vaccine. They want you to get vaccinated, and so I wanted to go to Southeast Asia. I'd never been to Thailand before, never been to Vietnam, Laos, Japan, all of that stuff. So I started going there a lot. And
just because it was a goal.
It was a goal, but I also started getting into the culture over there, in the Thai culture. It's an amazing culture.
Yeah.
So to make a long story short, I was in a relationship for 4 years, and she didn't want to come to Idaho. It's a Filipino gal, wonderful woman. She's going to watch this, and I still love her, Yeah. And she said, they're very tribal and communal, and there's not really a Filipino community out here. And I says, I got to go. So I left. And I was on the dating apps and all that, and it was a nightmare, like trying to find somebody. You're 57. It's not like you get a big choice of stuff, right?
Okay.
Unless you're a multimillionaire, maybe.
For sure.
So a buddy of mine goes, I think you'd like Thailand. He goes, and he married a Thai girl, has been married to her for 12 years, has 2 kids with her. It's really cool. And he says, just avoid the bars, avoid the tourist traps and the sex trades and all that.
Thailand's wild.
Thailand's wild, dude. I mean, but
wild. If
you go away from those areas like Pattaya and the Bangkok area, there are areas that are just, it's, whoa, man. Like, I don't go, I've been to Phuket and all those other places. I don't like the scene. I don't drink that much, and I'm not into, bar girls and all that. But I've met some incredible women out there. Just that, because it's Buddhism. It's a different mindset. It's a different way of thinking.
Okay.
And so I got into the culture, and I traveled to Laos. I went to Vietnam. I've spent some time in Japan, So I go there. I was latched onto one girl for a while. Things didn't work out. So I just keep going, man. I just keep pushing over there.
So you got that Asian fever is what you got.
Dude, I was born in San Francisco, man. I mean, my ex-wife's Filipino. Okay. My other girlfriend was Mexican Filipino. Then after that, she was, so yeah, it's just that that's what I grew up around, and that's what my eyes kind of go to.
You're like, I'm just going to go to the source.
Dude, but, well, exactly. And they like you, man. I mean, of course they're going to say, oh, they like you for your money. I told some of that the other day. They go, well, they're after you for your money. They are here too. Mm-hmm. Okay, so at least I'll get someone who's 20 years younger than me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Cool.
I just accept it.
Right, and we go with it. And I have a blast. I'm going... my son's getting married on August 3rd, and I'm leaving for Japan on August 5th.
Really?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I'm landing in Haneda, and I'm going to spend some time in Yokohama. There's a gal that I've been talking with. I'm going to spend like 3 days chilling with her. She's a Thai girl that lives in Japan.
Look at you, bro. You got an empty nest, and now you're just
doing what I want. I live on my terms.
Good for you. Yeah. What's that like? Seriously, I mean, you put a career in. You retired.
I put a career in.
Kids are grown.
I raised my 2 kids pretty much by myself.
Why?
It was a very contentious divorce, and it was contentious for way too long. And at the end of it, I wanted to move to San Francisco when we were in the East Bay. She didn't want to. The courts, believe it or not, ruled in my favor.
In California, you got the courts rule in your favor.
Now, and Contra Costa was a little bit more conservative.
Okay.
So she wanted to keep them there, and I wanted to move to San Francisco. she made a very, very big mistake in like making a false accusation against me. And when, which is ridiculous. It was
What'd she say?
one day and this was a long time ago, but
Yeah.
she made the claim that I was using my kids to distribute marijuana out of nowhere. Oh, he's growing marijuana and his 4 and 8-year-old children are dealing. So the cops came to my house and took them away from me.
Really?
And I'm telling you, that was as close as I've ever come to doing something that I probably would still be in jail for, right?
For sure.
And I didn't do it because the cops said, I go, you can tear this house down. They looked at me, they go, we know. We see your record. We understand. But the order is the order. And he goes, so what I suggest is you just chill out and you'll get your kids back in a month when this thing is done.
In a month.
And so that was the hardest month of my life, not being with those kids. So what happened was my lawyer, and all the credit to this guy, said, this is the strategy. We're going to get you a binding arbitrator. And if they agree to it, her and her attorney, you're going to win. Why? He goes, they like you. You're a likable person and you tell the truth. And she has a record, right? Okay. The day came, we talking about moving to San Francisco, and this arbitrator had the power to make a decision that was binding, so we didn't have to go to court. And I'll never forget it when she goes, 2 weeks from now, I'm going to make a decision. And she looked at both of us and she says, if you dare talk to your kids and try to influence them, I'll come down on the person that does it.
Really?
And she goes, I'll come down on you hard. They have my number. And I'm like, cool. 2 weeks passes by. We sit down. She goes, I'm giving the kids to Rafael. And he has 100% custody.
Damn, you got so lucky.
And then she looked at her and she goes, how dare you? Like, she's dressing her down, right? How dare you? Tell the cops that he did this. He doesn't even have a record. In fact, you're the one. Anyway, so I was vindicated after that.
Good.
That was a hard month.
Oh, for sure.
It's not cool,
Sure.
So in turn, I had people that took me under their wing. Now I take people under my wing when that goes, because the deck is stacked against you 100%.
It's another corrupt program in
Oh,
is the system where fathers. I mean, I know so many good dads. I know so many good dads that have lost everything because the wife says something, and
look at Vic, man. Like, what's going on with that dude? I mean, that's unbelievable. Shouldn't happen. But keep your head down and move forward. So you asked me how's it like being autonomous?
Yeah. So
Sorry,
no, you're good. So what's life like being retired, grown ass kids? You got the Asian fever, and you get to travel the world. That's fucking living, bro.
Amazing, dude. I mean, I literally will I still got my parents, which I helped my brother take care of. I still got to go back to San Francisco and do stuff.
Okay.
But I will go out for a month at a time. And
Really?
This time I might go for 6 weeks. Oh, yeah.
Really?
I got no obligations, right? I got a pension check coming in. I go, my biggest decision is, do I fly premium or coach? I hate flying coach, right? So premium, I can't fly. Business is really expensive. From here to Thailand is like 7 G's, right? But premium's like 25 and it's way more comfortable.
It's worth it. It's worth it, especially for an 18-hour flight or whatever
17,
it is.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? So this time I broke it up. So I'm Japan is 10, and then Thailand is like 6 from there. So I'll break it up a little bit.
Where's your favorite place over there?
In Thailand?
East Asia,
Thailand for sure.
Yeah. Why?
The north or the northeast is the best part. It's the culture. The people so they appreciate a person who's kind. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, man, you're a kind guy.
Americans are assholes.
They're assholes.
Especially when we travel. It's embarrassing sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, we go places and it's just like, oh my
Dude,
God.
Japan is like that. They don't really like you over there.
No.
And it's not because of them. But maybe a little bit. Okay.
They're a little racist.
They're a little racist. Okay. Okay.
They're a lot racist.
But people go in there and act like assholes. Like, you ever seen
yeah.
people on the trains? They want you to be quiet and, okay, I get it. Don't break dance on a Shinkansen train out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It is. I walked in. I was with my Thai gal a year ago. We were in Japan. I walk into a restaurant that I read on Google that had great reviews. Place was half empty. I have a table for 2. We got no room. I'm like, no room. What am I going to do? Complain to the Chamber of Commerce or the Better Business Bureau? No, you're in another country, dude. I'm like, okay, move on to the next one. But it was just the way it goes, you know? So you don't feel that. I don't feel that in Thailand. Even though in Thailand, you're never going to be one of them, right? They're a welcoming and wonderful culture, but it's a closed culture. They don't have the illegal immigration and all that stuff. If you overstay your state, you're going. They're going to kick you out
for sure.
So follow the rules. Don't get drunk and be a jerk and mess with people. And people, you're kind. They love you.
Yeah,
you know.
That's good, man. I'm glad you're living life. So what are you doing now? Now that you're retired, besides traveling to Asia and having fun over there, what are you doing now?
So you had a guy on, Victor, that was real-time results.
Yep.
I had him do I met his dude at the gym, and we started talking about it. I'm like, dude, and he looked I had it done 10 years ago, and he goes, yeah, I could tell, but the guy didn't really do a good job. He said, I go, yeah, I don't think he did either. And so he goes,
doing what?
Scalp micropigmentation. So basically it's tattooing my head, right? To make it this appearance that I have a 5 o'clock shadow on my head.
Yeah.
So I ask him, well, how much, and he tells me to do my head. And I go, do you teach this? I go, because this looks kind of cool. I'd like to do that. He goes, why don't you come into the shop and see what I do? Cool. I'm like, well, that's amazing. He just changed the way this dude looked. Within 4 hours, the guy walked out, looked at like a different person, and I signed up for his apprenticeship.
Really?
And so I did 6 weeks, and he offered me a spot at the shop, and so I'm like, cool.
Did you ever think in your life?
Never. And if you look at the two of us, we're bookends. Now we're friends.
Yeah.
Like he'll go, hey, you want to go have a cigar at the cigar bar? Oh, yeah, okay. Like last night, we went out for dinner. And so if you look at me, you got this 57-year-old dude, barely have tattoos. I got them, but not a lot, right? With this dude that, he says it. Dude, I know I look like an MS-13 gang member.
Yeah.
He's not. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life, So I consider him a friend. So anyway, now I'm trying to develop my own. I've taken on some people. It's a not easy thing to do.
Really?
No, because you're sitting there, putting tens of thousands of dots in.
So every hair follicle, which would be a dot.
Yes.
So you don't have like a big. I didn't get into it much with him.
Yeah.
Because his story is just so wild. I actually want to have like a part 2 and 3 with him.
Absolutely.
But so you don't have like a specifically made needle that's putting multiple at a time, or is it a single?
So most of them have like 3 tiny ones that make one dot.
Yeah.
So every dot that you see is just you going like that.
How many sessions does this take?
It depends on what you need. Like for me, I needed 5 sessions because he went from you can't see it here, but my hairline would start here.
Okay.
So he did my whole head. It took 5 5-hour sessions, but he took his sweet time doing it because I'm the model, right? If I'm going to be working there, I'm his apprentice, but he's going to do a good job no matter what. He's phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that to kiss his butt, right? Because I watch him, he'll sit there like this and do it without even looking. He's so good at it. And he wants me to succeed, and he's teaching me social media. I know we talk about the phone and all that, but as you know, like right here, social media is a way to get to people, right? What's the hardest part for me? I got to use magnifying glasses to do it. You know what I mean? Like I have these magnifying eyeglasses, and because I love it.
Good for you.
We did this one guy. He had a hair transplant scar.
Okay.
Vic did the scar. I did most of the rest of the head. And the guy called me up crying the other day. He goes, I haven't been out without a hat in 5 years. You guys changed so that's kind of what you did as a paramedic or a firefighter. You change lives every once in a while, but now I could do it without somebody in distress, really. You know what I mean? So I love doing it. So I'm just looking to build a business. I may even look at it, doing it while I'm in Thailand,
No kidding.
Yeah, it's a business write-off, right? So if I do it, there are people that do it. Japan, you can't. You need a major degree to do tattoos and stuff.
In Japan,
it's crazy.
Takes a decade to get certified for anything.
I was talking to a gal over there, and she goes, "No, I can't become a tattoo artist. You almost need a medical degree to do it." So I'm going to look at it, do it, just take my equipment with me and do it in Japan. Why? I mean, not Japan, in Thailand.
I could see you in a couple of years never coming back, and that's going to be your thing over there.
Do you know what the one factor is? And you know this, being in a hot weather, that weather is miserable.
Brutal.
The only one time I went there during their hot season, it's oppressive.
Yeah.
Like here, it's nice and dry. 100 degrees is tolerable. There,
You're dying, sweating.
90% humidity or whatever.
That's not built for big guys.
No.
I just die.
No.
Die over there.
Right? So that's...
All right, well, so you go there. You're going to live there for 6 months until it gets hot.
I could see that. I could
already see this. Yeah.
I'm already thinking about it. Like, okay, I get a condo over there. Have one gal, because I don't want to be doing the shuffle with multiple women.
How many women are you juggling now?
I don't want to say because they might be watching this too.
Oh, yeah. My bad. There, we'll edit that one out.
They're going to watch
I
this.
trying to put you up blast. Right. All right. Yeah.
No, it's all right, though.
We'll talk offline.
So, yeah. But I had one that I was dating for a year and a half, and things were going, something slipped up. It shouldn't have happened on her end, and I had to break it off because I had the visa process going. It's not easy to bring someone here.
My buddy's one of my really good friends. His wife's from Africa, and it took years, and how expensive it is.
It's a year and a half now, a minimum, to bring them from, let's say, Thailand to here. I hired a lawyer. It's not like here. It's like you spend $1,000 over there or something.
Gets actually work done.
It'll get work, but now everything is in the government's hands here, and it goes through so many different departments. It's a wreck, So things didn't work out after a year and a half, so I had to cancel that visa. I'm glad I did.
Dodge that
God
one.
bless her. She was a great one. She's a great lady, but made a critical error. Right?
What critical error?
She's being dishonest with me with certain things. It wasn't a cheating thing. It was just like, she knew she was coming here, and she wanted to work in an industry that I didn't want her to work in. And
What industry?
the massage industry.
Okay.
Because she wanted more money, and I was helping her out every month. I was giving her enough to survive. So she goes, I want more and more. And then I go,
What type of massage industry?
Any type of massage industry could be, if you're my lady, I'm a traditional guy. You're not touching men's bodies.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay.
Right? Just like I'm not going to be touching women's bodies. I'm not cool with that.
Okay.
So when I told her that, she's like, and then when she realized I canceled the visa, she got mad. And not mad, but like, please, and I can't, it's a complicated story. I don't want to go too deep into it, but I'm glad that, so now it's like, the world is your pearl over there.
Literally.
I can see people hearing this going, they want your money. Okay, cool. But I'm having fun. They all do. If you're a traditional man, you're going to take on that role. And okay, do you protect yourself? Sure. Nobody's getting my pension. Nobody's going to get my property.
Yeah, that's funny to me. Like, oh, they're just gold diggers over there.
There's haters.
Everybody, they're all gold diggers. Unless they meet you and you're in the military, then they're not a gold digger.
Exactly. You got a pension? Okay, cool. You can, pay my bills, right?
Instead, you get them 20 years younger.
That's the average. About someone like the girls that I were dating were probably about 35 to 38.
And you're 57?
57.
Good for you.
But it's weird. Like you go over there and you see these guys, and some of them their bellies are down to their knees, and they're horrific looking people, right? They don't take care of themselves. They're drunk, and they've got these beautiful girls on there. And now when you look at that, at least I take care of myself and present somewhat, reasonable, right? When you see that, it kind of annoys you, but whatever. It's not my thing.
No. Hey, who's anybody to judge anything? That's the one thing I've learned in the last few years. There are some things that I judge people on, like parenting.
Yes.
There's certain things that I just cannot break myself of. But overall, like, if you're gonna live your life,
do it.
I could give a shit.
As long as you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, like that's their thing. I mean, you see so many people just have an opinion on it. And it's like, gives a fuck.
Dude, and it's similar to me, where I was dealing with people that were judgmental, they were critical, and they're very opinionated. And I go, why? What does it matter? If that person is that, I don't really care, how they dress At the gym, I'm not sitting there like, oh my God, look at her, because all the girls out there are dressed. You've been to the gym, they all. I don't.
It's a little much sometimes.
It's a little much, but I'm not gawking. I'm not going to sit there and go,
Okay, so as a 57-year-old dude, I'm
Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
How awkward is it in the gym sometimes these days?
It's in what way?
These women, man. Like, I got a daughter now,
Yeah.
and like, in the non-gawking, but like, Zach.
Yeah.
So he's my boy,
Yeah.
and we'll be like, just a few
He's
weeks.
a trainer, right? Zach,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trainer.
Yeah, and his wife works there as well. He's on the leg press machine, and I just finished a set, and leg days with him are the worst thing you could ever go through.
He attaches people to those electrodes.
I don't do that far.
Okay.
So I'm already in my own like hell. So I'm in my own mindset, and I'm spaced out. And then like when I like unspace out, I'm staring directly at this chick wearing damn near like a bikini in there, and she's staring at me, and I'm like,
Yep.
you can't even scan anymore in there because then they're like, this motherfucker's staring at, and then they put you on the internet. So now it's like terrifying being an older guy.
Yeah.
And like, and then if you have a platform, now that I feel like you're just a target, and they're trying to out anything. So it's so sometimes it's just so hard with especially how they dress. Like if they're just dressed normal, cool, it wouldn't be a problem. But
Yeah.
and it's not even just that our gym; it's every gym now.
Everywhere.
I've actually just saw a thing where these gyms are now requiring. So a lot of gyms are coming out with dress codes.
Good. All right. I mean, some of them, it's cool to look at because you know what? You're 40, I'm 57. Our eyes are no different.
No,
Right? I don't look at like and
I'm
say,
not complaining.
no, it's good.
But
But at certain times, it's overboard. Maybe certain people shouldn't dress. Like if I see a guy that's big and whatever, don't wear a tank top.
Well, and it's the same. It's the same as these dudes wearing spandex in there, and like I got to see your freaking your outline. It's
Right.
like, bro, come on.
Right.
Like it's.
And he's got a camera on a tripod. Like, really, dude?
I'm not trying to meet gays, but I mean, you're in spandex. You're doing pull-ups in front of everybody. It's just there.
Exactly.
Right. It's the same with these women. And these women like guys don't care about it anymore. They've seen it all.
They're
It's like,
looking.
yeah.
We're looking. But I'm not going to stare. I'll say, okay, cool. Because
You're putting it out there.
you're right. I don't
We're in
want
it
to be.
for a reason.
I'm not that guy. And you know what?
It's hard though.
It is.
Hard to not be the creeper in the gym anymore.
But see, the time that I spend I see gorgeous women over there, like tens, and they don't even know it.
Really?
That's the weird part.
Really.
Like you get a girl who's gorgeous because there's so many beautiful women out there. They feel like they're not beautiful, and I'm like, in America, that you would be scooped up here. That's why I'm not bringing you here. I'm just kidding. But
They get corrupted by some feminist shit. and
oh, the dude.
ruined in no time.
Yeah, you're not. No, there's no way, right? So you have to. I've tried to meet people that are a little bit more traditional and not as gullible because if they come here, things are going to happen, right?
Oh yeah. Well, what's the biggest culture difference between here and then the Asian culture that you see?
Accepting of traditional roles.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like, look, you're the man. You're going to take care of me, and in turn, I'm going to take care of you, and that's it. That's just the way it goes. Now, if they've been more westernized, then So my friend pointed out something good, and he talked about intimate relationships with them. Whereas here, someone in a relationship you might get one party using it as a weapon. I'm not giving you this. That will never happen over there. It's almost like, oh, intimacy is the same as food and water. It's just part of it, So, they put a very high premium on hygiene and stuff out there, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like that, and so they expect the same out of you. But yeah, the traditional roles is what I see.
Are we gonna see you on one of these seasons of 90 Day Fiance?
No, because that's all drama, dude. That's all drama.
I want to watch that show with a psychologist or a shrink sitting next to me just to break down the psyche of those people and how
They choose and they create.
oh.
So I'm a drama-free guy. If you're going to bring drama into my life, that's one of the things that I like with a lot of these girls. I go, if you bring me drama, I'm done.
Yep,
I
immediately.
don't want to deal with it. I've had enough in my career, in my life. And so if you bring me peace, God love you. I will take care of you. And that's where I like.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong though. I remember I actually enjoy the show just because it's so crazy the mindset of people. we were watching one, and this black chick was like dating some Arab guy, and I was like, I told the wife, I'm like, one, this whole entire thing is fake, or she has no idea what she's getting herself into culturally wise.
I don't know.
She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you don't just marry an Arab. Like, you have to convert.
Yes.
Everything. You don't just go and marry some dude from Dubai, right? As a Westerner. And she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And then the show, that season was going on, and then he was like, you got to convert, and my parents are going to accept. And my wife's like, holy shit. I'm like, that's how dumb and just ignorant this chick was, that she thinks she's just going to go marry some rich Arab and just be like, oh, I'm going to put a fucking towel over my head and I'm good to go. Like, not happening. No. And so then she ends up having to flee, and like the family's threatening to kill the brother. I'm like, this is just crazy. And these people have no idea what they're getting themselves into. And like, you're dating some crazy Ukrainian Russian. Like, no shit, she's going to try to stab you in your sleep.
That's true, though.
These people, it is what it is.
You're going to convert to a religion that kind of like subjugates you, right? I mean,
I think it was one of the recent ones. I'm watching this retired meth head. You could tell he's got meth mouth and shit. No offense if the dude ever sees this. He looks like a washed up crackhead, and he's got some Asian Muslim that he's trying to marry, and then he's converting to become a Muslim, and like he's going to this mosque, and he doesn't even know how to pray properly. I'm just like, bro, like this.
Yeah, no.
Like,
it can't work.
No. It's all. I know it's all TV, and those producers just eat it alive.
They want to. They're fomenting that stuff because, like anything, a good story would never. Why would I want to watch a story of, let's say I go in there, I meet some nice girl, and everything's cool, and we have just a boring day of going out and
enjoying life.
Why would that's not going to sell a season, right?
But every episode you're getting in a fight,
right?
That's my biggest thing. Like every episode there's a fight. If I was about to marry a foreigner and I'm fighting,
not going to happen
nonstop with her, I'd be like, what?
Not going to happen.
No.
This gal that I was with, her English wasn't great, but she just brought a peaceful environment.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was a little disappointed that happened.
Yeah.
But shit happens for a reason, right? So whatever. But no, dude, I remember like when I was on the dating sites, there was a Muslim gal, because Thailand's mostly Buddhist.
Yep.
But you get some, I'm like, it can't work. There's no way. Like between me, the way I think, and I'm not.
A Jewish man and a Muslim woman.
It can't work. There's almost like an inherent like hatred between us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't hate her, but it's not. I'm not gonna have halal meat or whatever.
Historically speaking, going back a few thousand years, there's
my mom. Okay. If I married a Catholic girl, she wasn't happy. If I married a Muslim girl, I would get disowned. Like, are you kidding me? Those people kicked me out of anyway.
Okay, so here's a Jewish question.
Yeah.
Since you got your hair done, how does that work?
So we're not supposed to have tattoos.
Yeah.
By religion.
Okay.
I'm not religious.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And so I've always been kind of the black sheep of the family because my dad's a traditional. So my dad was born in Burma, which is now Myanmar.
Okay.
And the Japanese bombed Burma in 1941, I believe, and they moved to India. Spent 10 years. Maybe 10, 15 years over there, and then came here.
Okay.
My mom was an immigrant from Egypt. They went and they all came here legally. Here's the point, legally, and my dad joined the military right when he got here. So after the military, he was stationed in Germany, of all places, in the late 50s, I believe it was, and served there during the Korean War. He wasn't in battle or anything. He was an administrative guy. Came here and met my mom at a synagogue in San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry if that was an ignorant question.
No, not at all, dude.
I have a buddy that was Jewish.
No, that's a good question.
He got tattooed, and his family they're like, you're never getting married in our cemetery. Like,
oh, you're not getting married? Yeah.
Or not married, never getting buried, and I remember it was a huge ordeal, for him, and so that's why I was wondering if that counts or not.
I live my own life, dude. I mean, from
absolutely
point A to point Z. And in fact, when one of my brothers goes, man, your hair looks pretty good, I go, I'll do it for you. He goes, I can't do it, man, because he's more religious than I am.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, that's a very valid question.
Okay.
No.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate
the conversation. Get to know you, see you all the time in the gym, and then we met at that event. But yeah, dude, I enjoyed this conversation. This is why I love doing this, just to get to
It didn't even seem like we were doing a show. We're just talking, right?
That's how. Okay, that's kind of the vibe we go for. And
right on, man.
I know a lot of dudes. Like I've done a bunch of podcasts, and some of them I feel like they're so scripted, and like they're all these like I have questions that I like to ask, but at the same time I just see where it goes. And
I did one. You ever heard of California Insider?
no,
So I think I might have sent it to you on an email. I did it. It's a Epoch Times group, and they're out of Southern California, and they were a big YouTube channel. So on the episode that we did, it was about what was going on in San Francisco. A lot of it was based on the tenant. It was called the vacancy tax that San Francisco implemented. So if you had a property and you were renting it out, and if it wasn't rented out for 6 months, they start taxing you based on the. The goal was, let's bring in lower income people and lower the rent. Oh. So I did a huge. It got almost 1 million views. Oh, shit. I remember I was in Bangkok because from the time that we recorded, it took about 2 months until he put it out there. He calls me up. The guy's named Siamak Karami, cool guy, man. Mm-hmm. He goes, "Do you have thick skin?" I go, "I do." And he goes, "I'm letting it out today, but you're going to get pounded." He goes, most of it.
Comforting.
Well, I didn't care. Like I already knew it. I had a nice suit on with an expensive watch and whatever. And the comments, he goes, "Don't look at the comments." He goes, "Most are good, but you're not going to look at the good ones. You're going to see the ones that whatever." So I look at the comments and like, "Look at this a-hole. He's got his $10,000 watch on and his $2,000 suit. He's a slumlord. He's a this." The funniest one that I ever saw was a comment that a guy goes, he goes, "Oh, that's Mussolini at 140 years old." And I looked at it. I started crying, laughing. I go, okay, maybe I do look like Mussolini, whatever. But I like doing stuff like this because I'm able to just tell the truth. You know?
That's all we do. Sit down and shoot the shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy where the internet goes with people, of how much the different types of hate. What people fight over on the internet is fascinating to me, especially since we put out clips. People will fight to the death in the comments over a celebrity they've never met before, defending them or
a basketball star or whatever, right?
Her and I will sit here and we just laugh because we're like, look at the comments.
Yeah.
300 comments and they're fighting over if Drake is a billionaire.
People are bored. They have nothing to argue about, right? I don't know. I see it. I see the comments all the time. He's like, "Whoa, you're wasting your breath." You know? I got kicked off Instagram for making an off-color comment.
Really?
Yeah.
I make those all the time.
There's certain words that you cannot use. Moron is one of them.
Yeah.
Idiot is another one. Now, Facebook, I can do whatever I want. Somebody called me I forgot what they called me. I called them a brainless monkey.
Oh, yeah, no.
Done. They're like, "You're done? We've warned you," whatever. So then the thing came out, you can appeal it, and I lost it. That's why I have a new account now. I've only got like 200 or 300 followers or whatever. But whatever. I kind of said, okay, cool. But so you got to watch what you say.
Yeah, I got banned for a while for using the word coons when we were coon hunting.
Right.
Yeah. Apparently that's racist, and then I got banned. They gave me a suspension for a bit. And we're literally raccoon hunting, and I said something with coons, and I got banned, and I was like, that's a new one for me. So I was like, I can get way worse if they wanted, but
I get I used to. I don't do it as often now, but I used to get banned on YouTube like every week for 24 hours just from commenting, right? And I would just, even if I said "F you," and I'm wasting my time doing it, but sometimes I'm laying in bed, I want to have fun, I'm laughing, right? 24 hours. So I just can't comment, but they're taking $18 away from me a month because I'm paying for a non-ad subscription so I can watch. So they're not going to kick me off of YouTube.
No.
They're just going to say, "Here, get the handcuffs on." Okay, great.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's fascinating. The psychology behind what social media has done and how they've changed us and how obsessed and involved that we think we are to everything now, and everybody has an opinion.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. Everybody has an opinion, and it's fascinating. Like I would like to have a shrink or some psychologist come on and just talk about the psyche of social media and what it does, because it is, like I said, like the fact that people are fighting over Drake being a billionaire, or what gun is the best gun to carry for your everyday carry. And these motherfuckers will be like rioting in the comments, like, fighting each other over this. And I'm sitting back like,
It's a personal thing, right? Everybody.
Yeah, which it honestly created one of my favorite pastimes. Like I'll go into like politically driven, something that I know I can just kick a hornet's nest, and I'll just leave a comment, even if it's like against what something I believe in. I'll just say something,
Sure,
and it just erupts, and it's just like, and I just sit back and watch the dumpster fire burn. But I don't have to do it anymore as much because now we have our own platform, like with these clips, and it's just a dumpster fire all the time, anyways.
So if like one thing I learned from Vic is when he was doing my head, what he does is he'll take a phone and place it right here, and he's got a 50-inch screen TV over there, and he goes live on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And within minutes, he'll have like 2,000-3,000 people, right?
Yep.
And so sometimes an off-color comment will come in, and he goes, "Watch how I turn a negative into a positive and a positive into a negative."
Mm-hmm.
And so with the negative comment, he'll take it and then respond to it with a video.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, "Well, watch this." He goes, "Even with the positive comment, it's human nature for people to be negative, but both situations drives the algorithm."
For sure.
And I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's phenomenal. And he knows it.
See, I don't ever go. I can't go live for this because we have some colorful guests, and they'll drop some words, and I don't feel like getting canceled.
No, please don't.
But mainly my wife, and so she'll say some shit.
That's great, dude.
And no, I'll go in and like pin a comment,
Right.
and if somebody just leaves, and then it's almost like you just hang him out for the mob, and then and it's just wild. But it is so fascinating. Like we have a video right now that it's a month or two old, and people are still fighting on it.
Really?
Over, what was a good one? Seal, the Heidi Klum's ex.
Yeah.
I posted a video about Seal. My guest, I asked him what's the worst client he's ever worked for security wise, like as a guest. Long story short, he ended up taking over after Heidi had an affair with her security guard. He replaced that security guard.
Wow. Okay.
The amount of people that came out of the woodwork defending Seal about being such an incredible man, and that he's still up there to this right now. That episode is old. I don't remember what episode he was. It was early.
Yeah.
They're still fighting in the comments about how Seal, an actor, or Drake being a billionaire.
And how does that serve you? You know what I mean? Like,
serves me great.
No, it serves you, but I mean them.
Algorithms love it. Exactly.
The people that are there fighting, like, what are you getting out of that, right? But hey, okay, human nature. You want to argue? I think people get away with being an a-hole over behind a keyboard and say whatever they want with no consequences because no one's going to pop them, right?
I'll fucking slap them.
Right.
I've done it on Instagram, but they deleted it. I've slapped a couple people before.
You mean like you literally send it a slap emoji?
I've fucking caught a couple people, and but I caught a kid one night stealing, and I slapped the shit out of him in a gas station parking lot.
Oh, good.
That went pretty wild, and then I thought I was going to get arrested for that one, but whatever.
I mean, people do need to get smacked.
They do.
That's the bottom line.
Well, dude,
thank you so much, dude.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell you about the bread.
Please talk about it. I love this stuff.
So, you're an only sourdough guy.
Yes.
This is our RPG. Shameless plug.
Please.
Roasted garlic from the garden, rosemary, not from the garden yet, but it will be here soon. We just ran out of our fresh stuff, so we have to pick some more. But Parmesan. So rosemary, garlic, Parmesan. It is an incredible loaf. The girls made it especially just for you.
Thank you very much.
And so we give every guest a fresh loaf of sourdough. Hopefully you like it, enjoy it.
Oh, I'm going. So I've been going to another place over there to get it because my favorite thing to do in the morning is I wake up, I'll have some water, and then take a walk, come back, have my coffee, and I usually get a slice of sourdough. Either I put a little butter or a little jam on it with my coffee. My favorite thing, and then I do my cold plunge, right?
You'll have to check out.
Can't wait.
We have some crazy flavors.
Okay.
Really good flavors that we constantly drop. A lot of them are seasonal. We're about to drop an apricot Gouda.
Really?
Walnut one. That one's phenomenal.
How do I order this once
Sour Bee. We got you.
Do you have an Instagram account?
Right there. Yep. Everything's on there. That QR code.
So just come here and pick it up?
So yeah, either here or I have a delivery driver, aka my daughter. Yeah,
That's
so we
cool.
force her. You know how it is being a teenager. They want to drive everywhere, and I'm like, you're going to regret that.
I'm really close to here, so.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I just up Cloverdale, right by Lagrange.
We have sourdough Saturdays, too. You could come right by and pick up, porch pickup.
I love it.
Cool. Well, dude, thank you.
Man.
Again, I appreciate the conversation. It was awesome.
Perfect.
Fucking A.
Dude, that was cool, man. Did you want to ask anything off camera or something like that?
Yeah,
But usually